3 o'clock on this Wednesday. Welcome aboard the Postgame show. Alongside Terry Ford, who's punctual-ish today. It's good. It's good. He's here. That counts.
And I'm in the middle of doing important things in the hallway. Yeah. I'm putting fat heads away so everybody knows where the fat heads are. I'm having deep intellectual conversations with Tyler. I really never have a deep intellectual conversation with Gunner.
Or do you really have them with anyone?
With myself.
Oh.
No, you don't. No. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Oh. No, you don't.
How you doing?
I am doing well for your last day, sir.
For my last day?
No, did I say that out loud?
Oh.
How you doing?
I was like, wait, am I going on an early vacation?
Is a sabbatical.
This is Aerosmith's permanent vacation album?
No, but do you remember this? Now, maybe this happened in your neighborhood, maybe it didn't, because I grew up in a different type of neighborhood than you.
Okay.
Little Linda went away for 9 months to go visit her family in Detroit.
No, we didn't.
And then she came back 9 months later.
I didn't have any.
Lighter.
No.
You had a nicer neighborhood than I did.
I mean, I mean,
that was the I'm talking about our generation.
Yeah, sure.
Linda went away for 9 months and then came back lighter.
All right, I got to remember this because there's a Frasier episode where Roz, who he works with, right, his producer, because he's in radio, for those of you who know Frasier, and Roz is pregnant, but Roz is single. And so they're at Frasier's place, and his dad, who's more old-fashioned, says, well, back in my day, if something like this happened, we'd have sent her away to live with an aunt and then, come back and told her she was raising a niece. Back then we had morals and values. It's just, and he says it so seriously, right? Like we had morals and values.
Yeah, back then. But I remember being a little kid. And I can't remember. Linda was not some girl in the neighborhood.
Yeah, let's not name names. Even if we're 400 or 500 miles away.
Ready? All of a sudden, she went away.
Yeah, sure.
And then she came back. She was lighter.
Well, that's good.
But she didn't have They didn't have a niece.
That's good. All right.
Anyway.
We're moving on.
Phillips.
We're moving on. John Whittle will join us coming up in just a little bit. He's got morals and values, and he'll be with us.
Why is he on this show?
Well, because we made nice, John and I.
Did you make up after you disrespected him the way you did?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, John was he was on, and John's on a lot. Obviously, he's one of our favorite guests, and but he had been on just a few days prior. And there was some baseball stuff, and you and I had been away for a couple of days. And so I invited another guest on who could not make it, and I found that out kind of late in the process. And so John, I texted John, and I was like, hey, can you come out of the bullpen? And he goes, man, we hire a new baseball coach. You want me to come out of the bullpen? And, and of course, he's, I think, kidding. And then you and I had fun with that, so last night when I invited him on, I was like, no cancel
You're not
guest.
A sub. You're not coming out of the bullpen.
It's just straight John Whittle wisdom.
We picked you first.
Yeah. So he's good. And not only that, he's so good with it that he's going to give us an extra few minutes at the end of the hour to discuss Lamont Paris's basketball press conference today.
All right. And so now moving forward, because, in the words of my dad, Dean Ford, when you screw up, it's a lesson. And you learn from it because it's just a mistake. If you keep doing it, it's a bleep up. So moving forward, when we contact John Whittle, what are we not going to say to John Whittle?
That he's a fill-in guest.
Thank you.
That he's coming out of the bullpen.
He's always our number one choice. Yep. He's the ace of our rotation, Jay.
The thing is, that would be accurate pretty much anyway, but I just was trying to be honest with it because, again, he was on like 4 days before that, and I was like, I don't want to bug you, dude.
Right, ready? Next thing. Sometimes, no matter, even though when we were kids, we heard a song that was honesty is the best policy. Be honest in all you do. Tell the truth. Treat people fairly and do the same to you. As we've gotten older, we realize every now and then what is not the best policy.
Well, I try to live my life a certain way. So anyway,
now, once again, I said this to you that day. If your wife said, honey, do I look fat in this outfit, what would your response be? No matter what.
No.
I hope you never, ever would go, yes, sweetheart, you're looking a little chunky in that outfit.
Well, since you ask.
Can I be honest with you for a second? We're not on the air, right? I could see you actually going,
Oh, God,
well,
no.
sweetheart.
No. Because now it wouldn't be about her appearance, but there's been times when my wife has asked me an opinion question, maybe something around the house or something for dinner or just something, right? And that I'll give an answer, but it was the wrong answer.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, why did you ask?
I'll tell you one I got. This is an honest-to-God question I got from a girl I went out with years and years ago. She had a sister, and I'm not going to tell you. Look, the girl I went out with was cute.
Okay.
Her sister, oh, my God.
Okay.
And she was a few years older.
You be careful.
And she said, the girl went out, she goes, tell me something and be honest with me. Is my sister that much prettier than me? Hell no. Not at all. You're just as pretty as her in your way.
Oh, no.
No, I didn't say that. I said, you're just as pretty as her. I wasn't going to go, yeah,
What
your
is
sister's
pretty?
You're cute, but your sister's a smoke show.
What is pretty? Anyway, we got a lot to get to, but John will have the latest on what's going on around Carolina baseball transfers. A lot out, obviously. A lot have come in now. And, of course, it looks like about half of them, give or take, that are on the list that have come in are from Coastal, come over with Kevin Schnall and Matt Williams and crew. So
you know why that's good? Not even for what they do on the field or whatever. They set the culture. They're the guys that played for Schnall for 2 years.
Right.
They're going to come in, and all the newbies who don't understand, and they're going, huh? Or they whatever. These guys are setting the culture. Or they walk up and put their arm around a guy and go, look, coach does this for this reason. Trust me, it works out. These are going to be the guys who lay the foundation in year one for Kevin Schnall's culture. That's the positive residual you get off of this, right? Is these guys, in the words of us here, know what's up.
Well, and I think that's one of the things Kevin has talked about, that he's quickly got to reset because, I'm not sure. Again, Monty, as the leader, didn't really have that time or luxury to set his culture.
No.
And prior to that, for a year and a half or whatever it was, season and a half, I don't know that you had one.
I thought I was getting ready to say that. I was going to say there wasn't a bad culture. There was no culture.
I don't think there was one.
There wasn't. There was just like, let's just show up and we'll wing this thing as we go. Yeah. And again, I've said this before. And again, this is over with, but you get the feeling of, was Maneri, did he look at Terry Rooney and go, what do you want to do today, Terry? It just, you know what I'm saying, without saying it, right? You gonna give me shruggy guy?
Feels that way.
It just, so to your point, there was no culture. Now I'll say this: sometimes setting no culture is as bad as setting a bad culture. To be fair, in some ways,
yes, because it's ironic, I suppose, but yes, at least a bad culture. Was it a culture that was attempted to be set?
It wasn't set bad in the beginning. It just kind of went sideways.
It didn't work, and then you have to, But anyway, Kevin's going to do that.
He's going to lay down his culture, and everything we've heard. It's his culture, and he's got guys in here who, because Jay, you've played sports. Good teams are led by players in the clubhouse, in the locker room. A good team is led by the guys. The coaches, they set a culture, but it's executed by players.
Sure. He's
going to have guys who execute his culture to show everybody in year one how this goes.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
No, absolutely. 100%. But we'll also talk with John about a couple of guys that have left the program that might be a little bit bigger names. Jake McCoy moving on to Tennessee. Alex Philpott is leaving. And, are those big misses? Are those discussions that were had with the new staff and his parting ways was the better decision? We'll see what John thinks about that. Also, in the news, are some bigger picture things that Jeremiah Donati has been bringing up, including, obviously we know Williams-Brice is under a full-blown 2-year renovation. Phase 1 will be ready for the start of this football season, and then phase 2 will be completed the next offseason and ready for 27. But Jeremiah has made mention of enhancements to the baseball stadium, and he brought up in recent discussions the possibilities of it was hard to tell if he wants a brand new arena or if you can do something with CLA. It is hard for, it's funny, Terry. I don't see CLA as old, but it is now 25 years old.
Right.
And in American sport at the highest levels, it's old.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of complaints from Gamecock fans through the years that it's, quote, too big. I've never believed that.
Can I ask you something? 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now, when they were making that run to the NCAA tournament, and they were third in the SEC, and the barn was packed and loud, did it feel too big?
No, it's not too. It's not. And Dawn, when you're in there and Dawn sells it out, it's not too big. Again, what the problem isn't the capacity. The problem is the product.
Absolutely.
And look, I'm not trying to directly compare the programs, okay? So don't get this twisted, y'all. But is the Dean Dome too big? Is Rupp too big? No. If you have a product that people want to be part of, they'll come see it.
And it's not too big.
Thompson Bowling might be too big, but that's another story. But Thompson Bowling's 40 years old, and if you've ever been in there, I call it Thompson Bowling airplane hangar because that place is gigantic. I mean, it's just massive. I'm like, my God. And the first time I was ever actually in that building was for a Van Halen concert.
Are you serious?
I looked around. I was like, my goodness, you could land
even David Lee Roth went, damn, this place is big.
You can land a 757 in this joint. But anyway, I want to have that discussion with a lot of you, and Terry and I will kind of get that ball rolling throughout the afternoon, and maybe over the course of the next couple of days on, do we? And I'm not here to say up or down. I mean, look, if you want to say that Carolina wants to build a new arena that, like Carolina Coliseum and like CLA, benefits the school first and foremost because it's the school's building, but the community at large, I'm here for it. Listen, I've got a story, and I'm always careful about naming names other than, CLA was designed to also have hockey. And then the AD at the time basically told the ownership group, and may the AD at the time rest in peace, you're never playing hockey in my building. And because that was part of the discussion again with the community at large. And remember, this wasn't just City of Columbia, it was Richland County, it was Lexington County, it was the state. A lot of things went in to building an 18,000 plus seat arena in an area where we don't have tons. This ain't Atlanta.
And when you build an arena that size, obviously you've got bigger plans and bigger goals than just hoop games,
right?
With the university,
right. And even though they were striking while the iron was hot with Eddie Fogler's basketball
you said
team,
there was waiting lists.
You couldn't get in,
right?
You couldn't get in. And people have said they should have just either kept the Coliseum or built a new place with a few more amenities, but same capacity. Again, I won't disagree in theory, but the truth is, Carolina Coliseum was built for a city, that was Columbia's size in the late 1960s. Well, Columbia had grown a lot, the metro, by the late 1990s, and then the building opened in the early 2000s. We've grown yet again. I mean, there's almost 1 million people in this metro.
This is a top 100 media market, radio, TV, whatever.
And,
it's a medium-sized city, and it's still growing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to get, now that Charlotte has an NFL stadium and has an NBA arena, they get more of that. But as most of you know, if you're around my age, give or take, we were the ones that got all that back in the day because the old Coliseum, and I'm talking not the one that got torn down, but the one where they play hockey now. I think they used to call it Bojangles Coliseum, and before that it was just the old Charlotte Coliseum. Place was a dump. Okay, and they didn't have a football stadium. So when there were stadium tours, U2, Rolling Stones, Guns N' Roses, Paul McCartney, they were here, man. They were here.
Yeah.
And all the concerts were at the Coliseum. So, but is it time for something new? We'll get into those kind of things for you, too. Got some Sorsby news to get to. World Cup group stage part 3, if you will, is underway. So we got simultaneous games. We'll follow those. And already, we'll come back with some news. Yesterday, let me repeat, a brand new eligibility rule was passed by the NCAA. Today, there are about 6 athletes that are lining up to sue them. Today.
And are we shocked? No. No, we said this. What did we say yesterday?
We'll get into those details. And again, John Whittle with a lot of baseball intel coming up inside of 20 minutes. It's the Wednesday postgame show.
The Men's Clinic of South Carolina with Dr. Dan and the staff. Here to help you. You're a guy. And you're not in your prime. You don't feel like you're in your prime. You just feel like, you're forgetting stuff. You're sleeping like crap. Don't have that quote-unquote intensity for life in any way, shape, or form. You're weaker at the gym. You feel sore more often than not. You're just not you anymore. I'll go to the Men's Clinic. 803-875-MENS. Just set up a consultation. It's free. It's confidential. Tell Dr. Dan and the staff your story. They'll do a testosterone test on you. And then they will come back with a plan that will get you back to feeling like you again. Again, just start it with a phone call and a consultation. 803-875-MENS. The Men's Clinic of South Carolina. You make that call. Get back to being you again.
All right, welcome back in. Postgame show rolling on here on a Wednesday. John Whittle coming up in just a bit. So yesterday, before we talk a lot of Gamecocks with John, I wish I weren't here to laugh at this. I'm dead serious. I wish I weren't.
Oh, it's funny. Stop.
Yesterday, the NCAA's Division I cabinet unanimously voted to change eligibility rules for college athletes starting with the fall of 2027. So it's going to take a year to implement. They call it the age-based model, and once this begins, a student athlete will have 5 years to play five. To play 5 to play 5. Right now, it's 5 to play 4 because you can get a redshirt year. It'll be 5 to play 5. So college athletes are going to get 5 years, and they think that's a bonus. And I don't disagree with them. They, the NCAA leadership, like, hey, we're giving you another year to play.
Right.
And that's a thing. That's something. It will start at high school graduation or a person's 19th birthday. There will be very limited ways to get a waiver. Now, some of the ones that they've talked about, again, are religious missions, pregnancy, military service.
Maybe you played baseball in the minor, like Hayden Hurst.
They haven't even really, the thing is, you and I talked that, we think that'll be one.
That's going to be one.
But they haven't said that's one yet. I don't know, because nobody's brought that forward.
Well, that one's coming.
That'll be, but that would be a lawsuit. I don't think that would be one where they go, hey, I played 5 years of ball. Well, your 5-year clock started when you graduated high school there, sir.
And then the court trial starts.
And then you'll get a lawsuit.
And the NCAA will lose that one, by the way.
There will not be any retroactivity with this. And that is where we run into trouble. There are currently, again, I think there's 22 officially, soon to be maybe as many as 55 athletes signed on. The petition filed today was first reported by Ross Dellinger, seeks an injunction against the NCAA to grant athletes an additional year if they were a member of the class of 2022 or later and completed their 4 years of eligibility. They want that 5th year. They're like, y'all passed it while we were still in school. NCAA says, no, this doesn't even start until after you're out of school. That's why we did what we did. Then, of course, Terry, you know what? Class of 2023 would sue. Or the class of 2024. Dellinger says that attorneys Ryan Downton, like Downton Abbey, see what I did there, and Darren Heitner say they are planning to file legal action, quote, on behalf of more than 50 basketball players seeking a 5th season in light of the NCAA's new 5-year eligibility rule. Lawsuits will be filed in 5 different states starting this week. Let me read now. Let me go to a different, because I had 2 different articles pulled up. This is from Kayla McAndrew, who follows Mizzou, because, again, one of the players is Sean Phillips from Mizzou men's basketball. Let me get this right. He says the petition filed in Ohio claims that each of the 15 named plaintiffs who started their careers in the 22-23 athletic season and did not redshirt have been, quote, specifically excluded from that rule by the NCAA's arbitrary decision to carve out the class of 2022. They say that the class of 22 is in a rare position of not automatically being eligible for 5 seasons. Earlier classes were granted an additional season of eligibility because of COVID-19. And now the class of 22 is like, well, hey. I have no idea. Look, again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't, and you're doing this in 5 states. It's likely, I did read one other article that said this is likely to become some type of class action. And then you take it to federal court. I have no idea as to whether or not this thing's going to pass or you know, these players are going to win, not pass, but if these players are going to win, what a judge is going to say. If you do it in a bunch of different states, what if it's in 5 states and you kept it in state court? Do you get 3?
You just need 1?
Yeah. Well, do you get 3 judges that say yes in 3 states and 2 that say no? I don't know.
Let's say 1 state says yes. Does that set that precedent now to move forward with? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, and I really don't know if that's even how it works.
I don't either. I got no clue.
So again, I think that's why class action is more than likely on the way.
Yeah, I missed this episode of Law and Order.
But you and I mean. And look, this isn't about Jay and Terry because we were far from the only ones who were saying this a month or 2 ago. Because remember, they punted on this. This was going to be voted upon in April.
Yep.
And they punted, saying, well, we need a little bit more. We'll wait until we meet again in June. And so yesterday they did it. But the whole time we were like, hey, I get where you're coming from and what you want to do. But I guarantee you, the second that you say this has been passed, and you want to make this a rule, you're going to get taken to court.
Yes.
And it just didn't even take.
Didn't take 24 hours.
No, I think I think Heitner. He had it. I think he was ready to go.
It was in his desk
since April.
Yeah, it was in his desk. He was ready. Absolutely. Yeah, man. It just we knew it. And you and I were bringing up the stuff of you better cover the missions for religious purposes with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints athletes. The athletes like a Hayden Hurst who was playing professional baseball, or Chris Wenke, and then they come into college football or whatever, because those people are going to take you to court right away.
Yeah.
And this one I didn't see coming with because the way the NCAA did this, you opened the door for these folks.
Right.
Because you didn't grandfather anything.
And so I'm not here. I sometimes I have opinions. Look, my only opinion is going to be the thing that drives some people crazy, and not just y'all in the audience, for those of you who don't feel this way. But if you want to stop the litigation, you have to collectively bargain. I can't keep stressing that enough. And some people in this country love unions and believe they serve an amazing purpose. And some people in this country hate unions and think they have ruined business. And I don't really care where you stand. It's just I know this. I know this. When you collectively bargain, you eliminate about 99.9% of the ability for either side to take the other side to court.
Right, because everybody has signed off an agreement.
Because you agreed to it. That's why it's called an agreement.
Yes, we all agreed. And we all walk away from the table not 100% happy, about 57% happy.
Yeah.
But everybody walks away with an agreement. And, I said this to you before, because I've heard this, and we looked it up, last week. The Screen Actors Guild is a great model for this, because the Screen Actors Guild is a bunch of independent contractors, but have been binded together by federal exemptions to be able to unionize and not really be a quote-unquote employee-driven entity. They're an independent contractor-driven entity. So again, Jay, while these guys are, the NCAA's up there on Capitol Hill trying to, get antitrust flipped upside down so they can screw everybody again, maybe you should go, can we get exemptions to be able to build a model like the Screen Actors Guild?
If they
I don't
did
know,
that,
Jay. Call me insane here.
But so for those of you who are just like, I hate what college sports has become. Why can't it go back to the old ways? Again, it's not ever going to go back to the old ways because they've already been hammered at the Supreme Court level. But if you want to stop this, and we all do, there really is only one way, because even the antitrust exemptions, the ones they're looking for, they're limited. Like, for instance, they want the antitrust part to control things like eligibility and a so-called salary cap, but they don't want it when it comes to formations of a super league.
So, again, like I said, like you and I were joking, we were laughing 2 days ago saying, so the NCAA doesn't want to be told what to do, but they want to tell the athletes what to do.
And you can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways. Look, at the end of the day, what the NCAA was doing from the minute they were formed was breaking antitrust laws. And it's like, again, just someone, you're at a job and they're telling you how much you can make and they're capping you without your permission. That's not
how it works.
Legal.
That's not
No.
That's not how it works. But the lawyers are happy, so there's that.
Oh, do you know how much money in billable hours lawyers have made?
I don't want to know. We'll come back on the other side. Our good friend John Whittle will join us. The latest on the Gamecock baseball transfer portal movement on Kevin Schnall's staff. And John was covering Lamont Paris's press conference today. So we got a lot to get to. John Whittle, Gamecock 24/7 coming up. Keep talking about how much fun we had out at the British Bulldog on Friday as the United States beat Australia. Whatever games you want to go watch, make sure you head out to the Bulldog and enjoy not only a great atmosphere with TVs all over the place, but an amazing beer list, great service, and also fantastic food. I had the Folkestone fish sandwich. One of my daughters had the beef eater. Next time I go, probably going back. I was going to get a Tower of London, but they're so big. But it is an amazing burger, I'm telling you. I was telling Terry he's going out there for dinner this weekend. Like, if you want traditional fish and chips or bangers and mash, absolutely fantastic. Another one, Terry, the chicken, bacon, and leek pasty. Again, all their dough is homemade. You know, their fish is hand-dipped. The food is great. The atmosphere is awesome. They got games all over the place. It's going to be a great weekend out there. Bauer Parkway in Harbison. Enjoy the tournament or any other game and fun time at the British Bulldog Pub. All right, welcome back in. 26 minutes in front of 4 o'clock on this Wednesday. Jay and Terry with you. Always a pleasure, especially when it's officially official, to be joined by our good friend John Whittle on the beat, Gamecock 24/7. No fill-ins today. No
Always
out of the bullpen
the
today.
ace.
That's right.
Never coming out of the pen.
Cy Young Award winner
Always the ace.
of guests, John Whittle.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing wonderful. I appreciate you guys having me on.
A lot to get to, sir. So let's jump right into this. We've got big, I suppose, breaking news today. Wake Forest shortstop J.D. Stein visited yesterday and today made the announcement that he will be a Gamecock. So let's start with that. How big a get is this for Kevin Schnall and company?
A huge get. I mean, you've got to have a really good shortstop to have a chance of being a good team. and South Carolina just got a really good shortstop. I mean, the kid left Columbia yesterday to head on up to Cary, North Carolina for the USA collegiate national team training camp. But I mean, the guy is really, really good from a defensive standpoint. He got off to a little bit of a rough start offensively this past year, and the numbers don't pop off the table at you, but he's a good player offensively. His numbers in the league were much better than they were overall. He hit 300 in the league with a 902 OPS. So 4 of his 5 home runs came against ACC competition, half his doubles. So he put up he put up good numbers against the better competition that he played. So, I mean, just a spark plug, tremendous athleticism, really, really, really good.
John, let's go to one more Wake Forest player, Andrew Costello, coming in, catcher. I know his brother's in the portal, Luke, as well. But in terms of Andrew coming in, catcher, obviously nearly as important perhaps in a lot of people's minds as a shortstop type position in terms of leadership and what he does for his staff. How big a get is this?
I mean, I think it's big both for now and in the future. I mean, Bryce Eastep coming in at the catcher position, he's a really big deal too. Coming in from Coastal Carolina, was a 3-year player down there, sat for 2 years behind Caden Bodine, who ended up being a pretty decent player, as you all know. And had a pretty good year for Coastal last year. But he's one of those guys who's going to provide tremendous leadership to this program, in the build up to the season and during the season. And you've got to have 2 really good catchers, and I think South Carolina's got that now with Eastep and with Costello. So, and maybe you can add another Costello on top of that too to make it even better. But, Andrew, the catcher, coming in from Wake. I mean, he was an early enrollee guy. So he was supposed to be a senior in high school this past season when he was catching at Wake Forest. So he's got a couple of years with the Gamecocks before he's draft eligible, and it's a big deal to bring him in as well.
John, you talk about multiple years of eligibility. Let's go back to J.D. Stein. Stein has 3 years of eligibility and really 2 years until Major League Baseball draft eligibility. So another guy you bring in who got a lot of run last year and experience, but he still has multiple years of eligibility. So, again, in a perfect world, you can hold on to this guy for more than one season without having to go back searching.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess Costello technically has 3 years of eligibility too. I always just kind of calculate the until the MLB draft time.
Right.
Players are supposed to be that good. But yeah, I mean, having some guys come in who are that talented with some experience, who have multiple years of eligibility, that's always a nice benefit. I do think you need some old guys on the roster. I think you brought in a lot of that with the addition of the Coastal Carolina guys, because you need some of that kind of old head veteran leadership. But having some guys with multiple years of eligibility when it comes down to building a program, that's certainly very beneficial for Kevin Schnall and this team this year.
John Whittle with us talking Carolina baseball as the transfer portal closes on the 30th, and we've seen a few guys enter. Before I talk about that real quick, John, I thought Terry brought up a good point. It's the first time he's done that in a while.
Yeah, take once a year, John.
With the number of Coastal players coming into the Gamecock program, but maybe setting that new culture tone that Kevin Schnall is going to want to do, because obviously we kind of said, and you can speak more to this, we're not sure what the culture was. Monty tried to get something done in the last few weeks that he was around, but maybe not enough time. But how important in your mind is it that so many Chanticleer ball players are making their way to Columbia right now?
It's super important. It is super important, and this is no disrespect to Monty or anybody who was trying to close out this past season, but I mean, last year's team was just kind of a wreck in terms of leadership, and that's why I have been sort of vocal in saying I can make a case for 12, 14 guys from a talent perspective to bring back from last year's team, but I just don't know that you want anywhere close to that many, just because you need to change the culture and you need to change the vibe. And if you have so many guys from last year's team come in, I just or stay around, I just don't think that's a good thing. I think you just need a little bit of a culture overhaul too, and having a Walker Mitchell and having a Bryce Eastep and having a Luke Jones and a Hayden Johnson and some of those guys who have been around it, Dominic Carbone, been around it and been through it with Kevin and what he likes, and Matt Williams and what he likes, and Chad Oxendine and what he likes, and all of those guys. I think that's so important and so valuable when it comes down to, what the locker room is going to be like. It's going to be a lot different, this upcoming year than it was this past season. I can tell you that much.
Our buddy John Whittle, 247 Sports, hanging out with us here on the postgame show. Hey, John, first of all, give us maybe your gut on Will Craddock. I know, Georgia and Mississippi State are in the mix. And two, I'm guessing Bill Salento, the new hitting instructor, is very important in the re-recruitment of Will Craddock, right?
Yeah, very, very much so. And Craddock already visited, and I'm using visited in air quotes, with South Carolina, last week, and had a chance to sit down with the coaching staff and just kind of talk through, what their vision is for him, their kind of developmental plan for him. And, everything I know is that visit went really well, but everything I know, too, is that Will wanted to take visits this week to Georgia and Mississippi State, and those are going to go off, and then we'll see where things stand after that. I mean, everybody's told me from the start that Will Craddock wants to be at South Carolina. He's going to have the opportunity to be at South Carolina. He's going to have the opportunity from a financial standpoint, a playing time standpoint, a coaching standpoint, development standpoint, anything you can want. So, if he wants to be at South Carolina, then he's got every opportunity to do so and be successful. If he chooses somewhere else to go, then, this isn't ultimately where he wanted to be. So, I think ultimately he will be at South Carolina. I mean, even though he's from the Anderson area, he grew up a Gamecock guy and wanted to play here. And I think this is ultimately where he stays. But, when you're going and visiting places like Georgia and Mississippi State, you can never say it's a slam dunk.
John, Jake McCoy has committed to Tennessee in the portal. Alex Philpott, now a pitcher as well, that has entered the portal. We don't know where he's going. How much of those decisions were maybe any kind of conversations with the new staff relative to just wanting change regardless?
Well, with Jake, I mean, I was surprised by Jake. I'll just be perfectly honest. I mean, the staff put the full court press on to try to keep him. But he's also a very big draft risk. I guess we should start off with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm making my bet, he'll be in professional baseball next year versus Tennessee. I could certainly be wrong, but that would be where I'd put my money, and I would have put my money on that over South Carolina as well. So, I think he ultimately ends up there, but South Carolina tried really hard to keep him and put their best foot forward with him. Ultimately, I guess he just decided, and I know with him as well as some other guys, like they left just because I know it sounds dramatic, but it's the phrase that's been used with me a couple of times, that they're just a little bit scarred from what has been the last 2 years. In some ways I understand it, in some ways I don't, but it's something that's been shared with me about a few guys who have wanted to go other places. They've just said that they needed to go do something different after being here and being part of what the program has been for the last 2 years. So, I think that was a big deal with Jake. In terms of Alex, it honestly, I'm surprised it took him this long to go into the portal. He's not a guy that the coaching staff has really recruited too hard in terms of trying to get him to come back. Some of these other guys, some of these other pitchers who are draft eligible or in the portal, they've recruited with a lot more vigor than they have Alex. So, I'm a little bit surprised it took him took him as long as it did. I don't think it's that big of a deal if we're being honest. He's pitched for Florida and pitched for South Carolina for 3 years in total and had a 7 ERA for all 3 of those years. So, at some point you've got potential, but at some point you just you just are what you are. So hopefully he finds a place where he can be successful, whether that's pro ball or another college program. But I'm a little bit surprised it took him as long as it did to go into the portal.
John's going to hang out with us, talk a little Carolina hoops. Lamont Paris had a press conference today. You're listening to the postgame show. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of our first hour. Next hour, we'll get into a little bit more of what's going on around the Sorsby case. The latest there is, I got thoughts. I got big picture thoughts. We'll touch on that for you. And we don't do a lot of NBA with the draft last night. We'll get into that. And I'll find out, I think I got my over-under correct.
We got that second Euro late.
We'll talk about that.
Yes, we'll get into that.
Although I think there was I think I'm going to claim a third, and I'll explain that a little bit later on, too. John Whittle, kind enough to hang around with us for one more segment. Mr. Whittle.
Yeah, before you get started, I'll go ahead and provide your World Cup halftime updates.
Thank you.
Switzerland and Canada are tied at 0, and Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Qatar. Qatar's down 1-2 right now. I didn't want to say Bosnia and Herzegovina twice in a row, but I guess I did anyway. So,
thank you, sir. See, that's good.
But yeah, both of those are on the stroke of halftime at the moment. So
and,
anyway,
I'm pulling for Switzerland over Canada, John, because of former Arsenal great Granit Xhaka. So I'm good with that too. To be honest with you.
I've still got a Granit Xhaka bobblehead.
You should. Granit was.
Me too.
Great. He was fun, man. He was fun. He plays for Sunderland now, Terry, but I think you knew that already.
I knew that. I didn't want to say anything, but, you know.
John, real quick before we get to a quick couple of hoops questions, one more on baseball, and it has to do with Kevin Schnall's staff. Are we pretty much finished with it? It feels right now like an all-star kind of staff, especially, getting Coach Salento to come down and the guys that he brought with him from Conway. But what more might we be anticipating from a staff perspective?
Holy moly, he's got an army already, and they added another guy from Wake Forest the other day to be an assistant recruiting director too. So it's already a small army, but I do think they're going to add probably one more person into a big support staff role. Obviously, they'll have some student interns and maybe add another little data guy or two to run around in circles, but they'll have one more meaningful staff hire before all is said and done.
Right.
And speaking of staffs, I mean, the basketball staff, give me your thoughts this year compared to last year. First of all, it is bigger, and you have some help in the operations side. Also, a very eclectic mix of experiences and different guys coming from different directions. What are your thoughts on the new staff under Lamont?
Yeah, I mean, I asked Lamont about that today, actually, in practice, just the resources, in the press conference, just the resources that have been committed, not only, just beyond the NIL standpoint. Obviously, that went up in a huge way, but, they added a new full-time assistant assistant coaching position. Sam Decker sort of fills that out. Kerry Rich has taken on a little bit more than what he was doing and kind of shifting his role a little bit. So there's more from that side of things. You brought in kind of two aces that are from a recruiting standpoint, Bob Donewall Jr. and Steve Smith. Bob having a ton of international connections. Steve Smith just being deeply tied into this state, but I don't want to limit him to just this state. Just in college basketball, high school recruiting, and in general, he's just phenomenal from that standpoint. But we found out today that David Duquette's no longer part of the basketball staff. He was hired, according to Lamont, back into the NBA, so he's with another NBA program now. But that kind of shows what the level of commitment has become from the administration to trying to get this basketball thing going in the right direction again. So I think it's tremendous, some of the guys that they've brought in to add into what you've got in Lamont and Tanner Bronson and David McKinley being in there as well. But bringing in Bob, Steve, and Sam Decker, I think is really tremendous.
John, I got just over a minute for you. So the last thing I'll leave you with is a question that Lamont answered about the Gamecocks maybe being the highest bidders for a lot of their transfer guys. I suppose there are a lot of different angles that story could go in terms of what it says about where the program is right now, huh?
Yeah, and I don't think anybody really knows exactly how much anybody's been offered. The agents play games, right? I don't think I'm breaking any news to y'all when I say that. But honestly, that statement, even if it is accurate, shouldn't come as a surprise. And we've talked about this a lot, even dating back to last season, and talked about it with baseball too. Like when you have that challenging of a season, especially back-to-back, you're having to pay more for guys in the portal. And Lamont was very he didn't want to call it a tax. He said that other teams get discounts. I don't think that's really true. Some teams get some discounts. Most teams pay market rate. South Carolina's paying a tax, and that's why that South Carolina's had to pay a little bit more. But when Lamont said that, I think he was more trying to give credit to the administration for being able to provide them the resources, more so than gloating over spending the most money for a player.
Yeah, and I figured that was one of the things. That's why I say multiple angles from a statement like that. So we'll see where it takes the Gamecocks once they hit the court in the fall. Appreciate you as always, sir, especially for the extra time. We'll do it again here real soon.
Thank you, my man. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Always enjoy talking to you guys.
Right.
That is our great friend John Whittle. John M. Whittle to follow on Twitter. Gamecock 24/7 is the website. And again, for all your baseball knowledge, John's your man.
Telling you.
Yeah.
He knows
And some
what's
big
up.
baseball news today. We'll continue doing that for you. And we'll
I
have,
think we should get back to that Lamont comment of we had the highest.
No, I
bid
think
for
I think
everybody.
it's
it
broad.
can
Yeah.
move in a lot of ways.
I agree. I agree. Lots to get to in the second hour of the program. Keep it here. You're listening to the Postgame Show. 4 o'clock on this Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back in. Second hour of the postgame show coming at you from downtown Columbia's Herndon Chevy Studios alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Thanks once again to John Whittle for joining us. Lots of baseball intel, including a big get today. J.D. Stein, freshman shortstop from Wake Forest, has made his way to Columbia. He will be a Gamecock and has... I'm with John. I do it the same way because I've just gotten so accustomed to it.
When do they draft eligible?
Yeah, because that's why I love the baseball model. I have said I wish almost every sport could follow the baseball model. And my point being, of course, if basketball and football had minor leagues, then you could draft kids out of high school. And if you choose to go to a 4-year school, you got to play at least 3. You know what? It works really well for baseball. And you know what it hasn't done, Terry Ford?
What hasn't done?
It hasn't shrunk the star power of college baseball. No. In fact, it's grown it.
Well, you know what it's done that I like about it? And one of the things that from being back when I was a boy, as a young lad, and we had that one TV channel with the rabbit ears, you know, when we were growing up, basically, your college basketball player was at the school at least 3 years. Every now and then a dude left after 2. Like, you know, people forget something. Michael Jordan played at North Carolina 3 years.
3 years.
Tim Duncan played all 4 years at Wake.
The rarities were Magic and Isaiah, and it's because they won titles.
Yeah, they won titles. And
their coaches basically said, y'all need to leave.
Yep, 2 years, see you bye.
Yeah.
And
like you wonder if Magic doesn't win that title over Larry, does he stay? If Isaiah doesn't win with Bobby Knight, does he stay?
And Larry was at Indiana State for 10 years, it felt like.
And he was 30 when he went to the Boston Celtics.
I bet you Larry looked 30 when he was in middle school.
He did. You remember? Well, I don't know about middle school, but I remember.
He looked 30 when he was in college.
Absolutely. The thing is, he just didn't change for about 12 years.
He had a beard when he was in 6th grade.
You know, well, he had that. I guarantee you that mustache was there from like 16.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we got used to these, and it's like anything. The longer they play for your favorite college team, you get more connected to them, you get more memories of what they did, special moments. A.J. DeBansta last night became one of my favorite players because he was asked in one of the pressers, is there a player that you compare yourself to that nobody ever has compared you to? He went, yeah, I'll give you one from the old days, Len Bias.
Nice.
DeBansta pulled Len Bias. And if you're listening, you don't know who Len Bias is, jump into YouTube. But that guy stayed at Maryland 4 years.
Yeah. Was it 3 or 4? I was thinking
he was there for 4 years. Was he 4?
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4.
It's just the idea that these guys
he was
stayed
two-time
a long time.
ACC player.
Yeah, he was.
2-time.
Bias was ridiculous.
2-time.
So you look at it like you get connections of memories. Then the reason I brought that up is because I'm sitting there with Elijah going, dude, Maryland gave North Carolina their first loss at the Dean Dome. Yeah. And Bias went insane. It was an overtime game. Bias scored like 34. I have a memory of that. You know why? Len Bias stayed in school.
Yeah.
I remember Bias versus Jordan at Cole Fieldhouse with North Carolina and Maryland. Why? Because they both stayed in school. Yeah. The point is, what we're talking about here and why baseball has kept that, because they stay. Once you're in, Jay, you're in for 3 years. That's why I'm with you. I love that model because if you go, you're in for 3 years.
Well, it works.
And you know what the NBA, what could happen? And this is the NBA, it's not the colleges. If the NBA is serious about building a developmental program like the Europeans have, and they do want to use the G League as that model, you can give these kids their opportunity coming out of high school. Before you go to college, you can go to the G League and develop, but if you go to college, you got to be there for at least 2. Yeah.
Well, again, the baseball model works.
I love the baseball model.
And I think now, I don't have the number in front of me, so I'll have to go off memory. So if I'm a little bit mistaken, forgive me. But I believe now on Major League rosters, 45% of players went to a 4-year college.
Yeah, a lot of this has changed now. Obviously, NIL has helped stuff, but a lot of it's changed. And the way Major League Baseball, why they want to get rid of the high schooler in the draft is because of what you and I are talking about right now.
Yeah.
The college kids more experience, and the training is better now with the analytics and the video and all this.
Well, they get a more polished and mature product.
Right. The pull of the high school kid was we get him at 17 or 18 as a rough cut. We can make him the diamond we want him to be, and he's not in college getting bad coaching or whatever. That's changed, man. Yeah. Now you get that college kid who's gotten a lot better quality of coaching and development because of all the tools, and you get maturity, and they go through the minors faster, and they get to the majors. It's just, so to your point, yes, that's why you're seeing that many more college players in Major League Baseball compared to what he used to be.
Yeah. But, again, coming back around to how that got started, J.D. Stein committing to Carolina out of the portal from Wake Forest. At least 2 years that he'll be here because he's only played one. He's got 3 years of eligibility, but if he's as good as people believe, and I think that's one of the points that John Whittle was making, he's probably got 2 left before it's time to go into the professional ranks. We also have some quick football news, and we'll do a lot of this again during the Gamecock Notebook next hour, but Evian Lewis did make it official and flip. I say official. Nothing's official until December when they sign.
Right.
But Evian Lewis, the wide receiver from Richmond, did indeed flip his commitment from Kentucky to South Carolina. That was certainly the belief. We were talking with our own Cale Wilson, who was at the 7-on-7 camps last week and 7-on-7 competition last week over at Carolina. And he had seen Evian in person on multiple occasions, said he was just lighting the place up. And there was a real belief that this new offense was going to appeal to him. And so that's class of 27. So he's got a senior year left to play.
And, of course, South Carolina moved off of the Patterson kid, and a lot of people thought put a lot more focus on Lewis because of that. So.
And Lewis, like 6'2", 6'3",
good size.
close to 200 pounds, I think. So he's big, man. I mean, that's like getting into that Alshon territory. You know,
You take that.
I don't want to say he's Alshon because I don't want to put that on anybody.
But bigger.
But I didn't
bigger
want to say that
receiver.
Alshon was going to be Sydney, and you know what? He was pretty good.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, get a bigger receiver. You know, if you've got enough quickness to get in and out of your routes and get some separation, being big's not a bad thing, Jay.
I just, I still like. I'd like to just for like 1 quarter. Let's put a blindfold on Alshon and just let him run his routes, and he'll still catch the ball. He caught everything.
Hell of a player.
He
man.
caught everything. Man.
He was a good pro, but he was a hell of a college player, and he had a nice pro career.
He had a good. He did solid.
Fine.
He and Sydney both
man.
had really good. But they caught the football.
Well, I say this all the time. Here's what I want with a wide receiver: can you get open, and when they throw it to you, can you catch it?
Yeah, catch the ball.
All the other stuff is whatever,
right.
But it's very simple: can you get open, and can you catch it?
Yeah.
And after that, whatever.
Yeah. So. Gamecocks also got a commitment from a local product, James Ross, O-lineman from Ridgeview. Had Georgia Tech, I think, and North Carolina on the list, but chose to stay home and play for the Gamecocks. He is also a class of 27. Now, that moved Carolina's recruiting ranking needle just a little bit, but not a lot. I checked it this morning in the latest update with those players included. Still had Carolina. I think there was a bit the other day, I want to say, when they were outside the top 50. They're number 44 in the country. Now, there's still plenty of time left to make this a much better class, and I believe that will happen. But they're number 15 in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, and how many teams are in the SEC?
16.
Yeah. And there's a long way to go.
I think only Missouri is behind.
Right.
No,
not Missouri.
No, what Missouri?
It's
Was it Arkansas?
I looked at it yesterday. Yes.
Arkansas.
Here's the thing. There's a long time to go until this thing gets buttoned up and finished for good. I think there's a legit. You're 4-8. Your coach is on a hot seat.
Yeah.
I think that is a real thing going on with this. But also the
no, Terry.
It's not Arkansas.
Terry.
Alabama.
It does start with an A.
Alabama.
It's
That's
Alabama.
right. It's
yeah.
Alabama.
Because Alabama's kind of in the same boat. But they're going for a different,
Yeah, whole different fish.
yeah,
They're fishing in a different ocean,
Yeah,
but still.
it's Alabama.
They're coming back with their boat kind of empty too, just like South Carolina.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's like
Which, by the way, you think people here are a little concerned? Go check the temperature in Tuscaloosa about that.
Let me see where Alabama is on the. Oh, hang on. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say one thing though that doesn't make people as crazy as it used to be is the transfer portal.
Right.
But if you still need a foundation of college recruits, I will always believe that you need some continuity.
You got to build through the high school ranks. Alabama's number 48 in the country. Carolina's number 44.
Well, look, here's Caleb DeBoer is not Nick Saban, and you are not right now what you were a few years ago. You're just not. I mean, you're a heck of a program, but before that, you were a dynasty. You went from dynasty to good program, right, Jay?
Yeah.
And Caleb DeBoer. I mean, he's never been known as a recruiting smoothie. So again,
he's just got so many things that work against him that aren't his fault.
No, and look, I will always say this. Would I have taken that job if I was Caleb DeBoer? No. I don't want to be the guy to replace the guy.
I'll give you 10 million reasons to take it.
Second thought, maybe I'll go take it and you can fire me.
I'll give you 10 million reasons to take it.
But I will give him credit because there were 4, 5, or 6 candidates who just used the Alabama interest to get more money where they're at. Not saying that's bad or good. They just did. Kalen DeBoer said, screw it. I'll take your job. Let's go. And that poor guy, I shouldn't say poor guy with all that money.
I was going to say, it's not even 10 million reasons. It's 50 million
many
reasons.
more reasons. But, and I've always said this, I would take that kind of money too. But the day-to-day, the day-to-day slapping upside the head you get taking that job because you're not Nick Saban.
You're on the prescription antacid medicine.
Oh, I mean, and your family. I mean, do you just order your groceries and put them at the end of the driveway? Do you go out anywhere? Do you? I mean, life. Yeah, you know. I mean.
Well, and the thing is, he's won 18 games.
Nobody, but
19 games.
You know, they'll tell you that his Nick lost to teams outside the top 25 like 3 times, and DeBoer's
what hurt them last year was one game. They got pasted by Indiana.
Yeah, I mean,
and that shows you that there is still a massive gap for Alabama to be back where they think they should be, which is winning titles.
I think 2 losses. First of all, getting physically manhandled by Florida State, a team that ended up being black.
I don't disagree with that, but you know what? I don't disagree with you. But that's first game and last game.
That's my point.
First game, the FSU's all fired up.
But it was the fact that they got physically beaten. Teams never got physically beaten.
I don't think Bama. Look, I don't know.
And
if
then
they play 10
Indiana
times,
did to them, dude.
Yeah, now that's what worries me.
That was illegal in 42
because
states.
that also was fit. See, that's my point. That's a game where you were fully in, fully prepared,
playoffs,
fully motivated, and you got whooped. The FSU game. Some people may disagree. I'll go with forgivable and understandable. Should they have won? Yes. They were heavily favored, too, and they should have. I don't think they showed up.
Well,
I think that's part of it. I don't want to discount, but we saw FSU be, 5-7?
Yeah, I mean, that was the concern is, again, when you're comparing this guy's teams to Nick's teams never showed up like that. Even if they lost, you didn't walk away going, ooh, Nick was not prepared. They just got beat, right?
Yeah.
And then Florida State just ran them over physically. And again, Nick's defenses never got run over physically. You might have out-executed them and maybe, had some stuff going that, you just got them that day. But you couldn't line up and punch Nick Saban's defenses in the face.
No, I agree.
And I think, but to your point, the Indiana game was really bad.
Yeah. And that just shows you what Indiana
and the taste in everybody's mouth is not good.
And that's what he's got to look at. It's like, when it comes time to play amongst the elite, we're not ready. Again, the FSU game on the road, season opener, the heat of Tallahassee, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm not trying to make excuses for Alabama, but that one, But the Indiana one, that's a different animal altogether. All right, we'll come back on the other side. I want to get into a few Gamecock topics, including one that we brought up there at the end of our interview with John Whittle about Lamont Paris. And it's not being critical. It's just interesting that Lamont said in so many words, we were the highest bidder for everybody that came in through the portal.
Yeah.
Again, that could tell you a lot of things, and they may all be true. We'll touch on that. Plus, speaking of Carolina basketball, Jeremiah Donati a couple of weeks ago made mention of the potential of a new home for Carolina basketball, men's and women's. Is that something that we want, that we need? We'll get into those kind of topics for you, too. 803-404-6100. It's the Wednesday postgame show. Integrated media does so much to make life a whole lot easier. I tell you so often about home entertainment, home security, just home technology. But did you know that integrated media is growing what it does into the business sector as well? So much of what we do across businesses these days is digital meetings, whether it's, working from home or hooking up with another office in another part of the state, another part of the country, another part of the planet. But sometimes those things glitch and go wrong, or maybe you're just not quite sure if what you have is what you need, or you wonder, hey, everybody here? Well, let integrated media come into your business and analyze everything that you guys want and need, and then set up a perfect working environment for you when you're doing things in the digital space. They're making it happen all across the Midlands, ready to help your business too. 803-948-8327. Make sure you're efficient with integrated media. $4:19 on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. We have our Gamecock notebook at 5:15, and we'll get into some more news notes then. But we have some broader discussions here today. Lamont Paris held a press conference a little bit earlier, talking about some of the offseason moves. And amongst them today, saying that South Carolina was the highest bidder for basically every player in their transfer portal class. That's not a negative. To some, it may not be a positive. I think John Whittle raised a point that I had in my head, Terry, as one, because I said to John, that's an answer that has a lot of branches from its tree in terms of what that could mean.
Yep.
And I think John hit it. Like, are some teams just, paying a sort of market value, and South Carolina, which has struggled mightily in conference play the last couple of seasons, having to pay a premium? Yeah. That's one angle. That's one branch. Does money motivate a lot of these guys, in a mercenary kind of way? Yeah, this is a capitalist society, whether they're American or foreign. Money's money. And, it ain't like they're coming from they're coming from free market places.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it ain't like they're, oh, wow, I've never seen this before. No,
right. What's this money thing?
Yeah, you're coming from Western Europe or South America. You know what the free market is.
Right.
And then thirdly, and then there could be more branches to stay with that analogy, but I think John was right when he said that from Lamont's perspective today, what he thought Lamont maybe was stressing most was the support that the administration gave the basketball team to make sure they could secure a good roster. So all those things can be true, and all those things can be good. But I know you wanted to touch more on it too, but I wanted to set people up with that. I would fall under the umbrella of all of those things are true.
Yeah, I think that, look, you're not going to get everybody you offer. No one does. It just doesn't. Kentucky had a very underwhelming offseason, and they whiffed on a few guys in Kentucky. They're printing money with Mark Pope's face on it.
I think it's Adolph Rupp's face, but I get your point.
Yeah, probably not Mark Pope after last.
Yeah, it's Adolph. It's all the denominations are Adolph Rupp. It's just different versions of Coach Rupp.
Yeah, like
young Adolph, middle age, then retirement.
Monocle, because a guy named Adolph has a monocle.
Yeah. They got one with Colonel Sanders.
And somebody under 30 is going, what the hell's a monocle for? But I just think that money doesn't cure everything. But the good news is that South Carolina was in the running financially on all of these. Now, I don't know if I would have told everybody we were the highest bidder, because then the first thought, there is a percentage of the fan base that says this, well, why the hell didn't you get the better guys then that you didn't get? Yeah. If you were the highest bidder, you couldn't close the deal, Lamont? What's going on? Because that's just human nature in this situation. Because there were a few guys I wish they would have got that they didn't get. But the point you take from it, just for me, is because we weren't in the room when they were negotiating and pitching to these guys. But the one thing it does let you know is that the money is being given, whether it's football, men's basketball, or baseball, the three programs that have struggled. And when finances were brought up, that's a reason, the financial support has gone up for all three.
Yeah.
Now, again, it went up for baseball. It didn't work. Now, let's follow this, though, Jay, because this is what I think is interesting. All right. The baseball support went up from Paul Maneri's first year to Paul Maneri's second year. Mm-hmm. It didn't work, and what happened?
Here we are.
The coach was moved along. Lamont got the support he needed after these last 2 years. If it doesn't get where it needs to be, we might be seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
Shane got support. Coming off of 4-8, a lot of financial support. And this is a roster, you could hear three guys drafted in the first round and another guy or two go in the second round before it's over.
Well, and you're also paying a new coordinator more than $2 million.
You're paying a lot of money. And that's another part of this. The support goes to the coaching staffs. Look at the staff Schnall put together. Look at what Lamont's got. Shane went out and got a real dude at OC.
Yeah. Well, what did John say about Schnall's staff? It's an army.
It is. It's think about what was here before. Kingston's going, where was that? So the financial support.
Chad might be saying that too.
Same thing. 100%. Yeah. So, so the support is there financially, but with that now becomes this. Okay, I gave you everything you needed. Let's get it done now. And I think the model of Maneri tells you that if it doesn't get done, then other decisions are going to be made.
Right.
So I think we see the road almost that Jeremiah Donati's taken here, Jay, which I think is a very fair road, by the way. What do you need from us? We're going to get it for you. But now what I need from you is to turn that into doubles.
Yeah, what does it come with? And I think, too, look, I think the first thing can be from an AD's perspective, maybe I'm not trying to equate an AD with how I look at things, and you probably know where I'm headed with this, Terry. Tell me how you lost. Are you more competitive? Now, look, if Lamont and Shane can't go 1-7 in conference again.
No.
Even if all 7 losses were by 3 or
points,
less,
right.
I still don't think
matter.
you can go 1-7.
No, you can't.
You can't. And Lamont can't win 4 or 5 games again.
No, and it can't happen. And so I do think that, look, and I think you nailed it. With the level of support that goes up, the level of expectation goes up.
Yeah, well, it has to.
It just has to.
But again, where exactly, I'm not sure. And I imagine that is a fluid situation in terms of how Jeremiah is going to assess those things.
I think, look, we all felt the same thing. When that Arkansas beatdown happened during the baseball season, I think we all, whether to other people or just to ourselves, went, I think that's the end of the line. This has to end. This cannot continue this way.
Well, that night, I thought it would be Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know that Monty would be the head coach on Saturday.
On Saturday, right. No, I agree. I thought that...
And again, South Carolina should have won that game.
Absolutely.
But anyway.
But anyway, to your point, I just think that we're now seeing a little bit more how Jeremiah Donati operates. We saw the coaching search, which, look, I don't know. Kevin Schnall might be the greatest hire in the history of South Carolina baseball. He might just be a guy to get this thing right in the right direction, needs to, and becomes a really good program again. It might not be the right guy. We don't know what's going to happen. But I like the process to get to Kevin Schnall. I like the names we heard, the candidates we heard, even coming down to when Coach Forbes got involved with North Carolina. The whole thing had a feel to it that it was flowing in a direction you went, okay, I get this, right? Mm-hmm. So you like that. And then you see kind of, okay, we're going to give you what you need, but in return, we need wins.
Right.
And if you don't give us the wins, then we got to make some hard decisions. Doesn't that feel like how we're going right now?
I think so, yeah. And like I say, certainly Kevin's situation is different from, in the coming school year or the next season that he coaches than what Shane and Lamont are
Kevin's going to get...
He'll have a grace period.
He's going to get every opportunity to get this thing
But you know what? He does.
I
mean, and he'll accept that grace, if you will. But he's not going to want to miss the tournament.
No.
So, and I think this is turning into a pretty darn good roster.
I mean, so far, I tell you what I really like so far is the coaching staff. I really like the coaching staff. The Coastal players coming in, I like the idea that you're bringing culture setters in.
Yep. And
some guys that do have success on the biggest of stages from 2 years ago. But I really like the coaching staff.
Yeah.
That's one thing, man. We so focus on players, which I get because at the end of the day, they matter the most. But sometimes, you got to take a look at that coaching staff and who's coaching them up and who's developing them and who's motivating them. And I like what Schnall's put together. I really do.
I do too. And again, when it comes to Shane's team, which we start to really pick up on, in terms of our talk of the football season here in the coming weeks. You do expect a rather large offensive turnaround. I mean, I think South Carolina, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe South Carolina, in terms of Bill Conley's rankings, he does the SP Plus at ESPN. I think South Carolina was pretty good, in middle of the pack in the conference on defense. And I think top 30 nationally.
Matter of fact, they were top 30 nationally defensively, top 30 nationally special teams.
I think special teams, they were like top 20.
Might have been.
Yeah. And
I know
maybe like 5th in the league.
The problem was the offense.
Well, the offense, I think, was 15th of 16.
Yes.
Or maybe it was 14th. Because, and what's weird, Florida was below them.
Yeah.
In Bill's rankings. Now, again, Bill uses his certain algorithms and whatnot. So you expect Kendall Briles to at least get you, and I think that national number was in the 80s.
I was going to say it was 80-something nationally.
Up into the, if you get into the 40s, you've made a big improvement. And you and I talked about some of those numbers that you don't have to be, top 10 nationally. You'd like to be, but you don't have to be in order to see.
I mean, my God, how about being top? If you're top 50 on offense or top 40,
yeah. Well, then those close games. Again, you've got. I'm looking at least 3 games where you should hold on to beat Alabama, hold on to beat A&M, and you should find a way when you had the ball late at Mizzou. You can't just give it right back to them.
Right, you had games there for the win, and you just couldn't finish the deal.
We'll come back on the other side. I want to stay with the Gamecocks, but again, big picture stuff. Just interesting talk. Jeremiah's made mention of enhancing the baseball stadium. We know what's happening at Williams-Brice, but the CLA came into the conversation. We'll touch on that next. AAA Heating and Air ready to help you and your family out. It is going to be super hot this weekend, y'all. Temperatures approaching 100. Feels like temperatures will eclipse 100 degrees. And I keep reminding you, because I think it's important to, if you haven't had your system inspected in the last couple of years, it's a great time to do it. 803-677-1500. AAA Heating and Air gets out to you quickly. And if they find the need for a quick repair, or maybe you're low on coolant, that's why you're just not quite getting as comfortable as you want to be, they can get that done for you real quick. True transparency pricing lets you know right away exactly what you're going to pay and what you're paying for. Maybe it's time for a brand new system. Listen, you could pretty much say you need a new system today, and they can have it installed for you by, tomorrow. That's what they do at AAA Heating and Air. 803-677-1500. You can get a $1,500 rebate. You get a 15-year parts and labor guarantee, and they can guarantee to get you financed. Do what I've done. Many of your friends and neighbors, stay nice and comfortable with AAA Heating and Air.
Okay, first check on the traffic. Few accidents. Highway 302 at Columbia Airport Expressway, also North Lake Drive at Irmo, and St. Andrews at Broad River Road. And also, just like always, construction in the same old spots across the Midlands. Long-term, widening work, improvements, you name it, it's happening again today. So navigate around those typical areas unless you want to sit in some construction backups. Come back in here, CLA. Improve, renovate, replace. We'll get into that next year on the Postgame Show with Jay and Terry here on the Game Network, at the Game TV Radio and YouTube.
.435 on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Stay with some Gamecock thoughts, as Terry just said there. I don't know. There's a lot of different and mixed feelings about Colonial Life Arena. I like it. it's hard to believe that it's 25 years old and basically its design is more than 30 years old because Carolina, for the most part, took what Bud Walton Arena was, and it's not the only one, but Bud Walton was you could say was the main blueprint, and built it. And at the time, look, it's got plenty of luxury suites, and it's got the McGuire Club, down there on one of the baselines, and it's got good locker rooms, much bigger than what the old Coliseum had. It's got nice-ish, at least, amenities for visiting acts. I mean, I think you could have more of that kind of stuff, but that's not going to be the number one priority for a college arena. But as we've talked about, in replacing Colonial Life Arena, while South Carolina men's and women's basketball must come first in terms of any kind of conversation, unless you keep CLA, Terry, and then build a new building, in other words, kind of turn CLA over to the community in some form or fashion, and then you let Columbia and Richland and Lexington counties kind of deal with it. I think you have to have a community all-purpose facility in mind if you're going to replace it. And so how much – and when people say it's too big for what?
Right.
Because, again, it's not too big for the best women's basketball program in the country.
Never feels like it's too big when the house is full for Dawn Squad.
And it wasn't too big when, I was at that game with Zion and Taco Fall, the UCF and Duke NCAA game. It wasn't too big that day. Mm-hmm. And that was fun, man.
Yeah.
And you've seen it a few times. It's just you haven't seen it enough, and that's why people say it's too big. Now, look, I'm not really even kidding when I say this. If you think it's too big, put a tarp in the corner upper bowl, upper level.
I get you. There are people who do that.
And just create demand that way by simply not selling tickets. If that's what you think
then
you need to do.
Force the place to be more intimate.
Yeah, and then you go from 18,000 to, let's just say, 16,000.
Because I'm sitting here looking at the overview. Remember we talked about how Williams-Brice, the lowest amount of luxury seating. Remember we were having this conversation?
Yeah, and like by a wide margin.
Wasn't close. Well, now, CLA's different. I just looked this up real quick. Premium suite count is 45. It's relatively high in the SEC, matter of fact. It's pretty good when it comes to SEC venues. 18,000 seat capacity, still the fourth largest in the conference. Over 300.
All right, help me out. Rupp or Thompson Bowling, then Rupp. Third. Hold on. Give me a minute.
I'll give you time. We got till 6. No pressure.
It's not Texas's place.
No.
All right, now you have to tell me. Vandy?
I believe. What's the other?
Or is it Bud Walton?
I think, honestly, I'm thinking it's going to be Bud Walton. Give me a second.
No.
I
thought you had it in front of you.
It is Moody Center.
Oh, it is Texas.
It is Texas.
It is Texas. Okay.
All right, so when you look at it, you have 300 premium VIP seats, things of that nature. I mean, obviously, again, fourth largest venue in the SEC. You've got the stuff in there to generate revenue. It's there. And like we've talked about, when the teams are winning, the place is packed and it's loud. Now, do you want to do maybe some renovations, some improvements? How much does that cost compared to building a new arena? We saw this on a much bigger scale in Atlanta with the football stadium, right? How much does it cost to renovate? Yeah. Hell, you might as well build a new one, right? So, there's people a lot smarter than me across the street, obviously. But I guess you sit down and say, okay, we got to look at two plans. Plans is, all right, what do we want to do to renovate CLA? How much will that cost us? How much will it cost us to build a new arena? And you look at, I guess, your two plans and figure out what's the best course of action. And obviously, neither one's free, Jay.
No, and renovating takes time. And does it take, how much time?
And
what exactly do you want to do? Yeah, do you play under construction? Do you play while pausing construction and then you lower capacity for a year or two? Yeah, there's real legitimate questions. And like I say, I think the community aspect of it does come into play because Carolina Coliseum, look, I'm not even kidding when I say this, but they had a room, it's still called this, but it's called the Elephant Room. Well, they called it the Elephant Room because they knew they were going to have the circus come to town every year.
Mhm.
And
You
it's
need to put
quite
an
literally
elephant
where
in
the
the room.
elephants came in. Because you know what, man? Elephants are big.
They're pretty big dudes.
And you got that at CLA too. And so I'm not really kidding, but it's part of the fabric of the community. And again, you need concerts and you have graduations and you have a lot of things that are there. And so I don't think a new building with severely reduced capacity is the right thing. I just don't. And I say that from both as a lifer in this town, as an alum, as someone who for years has had season tickets in the building, both buildings. Going back to 12,000 something doesn't help anybody. Even if you had a whole bunch of suites. I don't think that's what you're looking for.
I think you have to, again, the idea of one of the biggest problems is the men have not been competitive, and it makes it awful.
That's the biggest problem, Terry.
Right.
Let's just call it what it is.
That's what it is.
Again, it's not capacity, it's product.
No, and that's my point is I think you don't want to course correct something that might not need course correcting when it comes to a building. It's the basketball team has got to get better for the men.
Yeah, just do that.
The good news of this, fix everything.
I mean, you got big wide concourses, you got plenty of parking. It's an accessible location.
3 years ago, man, nobody was talking about the place being too big when they were third in the SEC.
No.
Here's the thing.
Or again, Dawn's #1 in the country.
Nobody worries about the building on those nights. The one thing I like about this, though, is that Donati brought it up. And first of all, I like the idea.
And he brought it up kind of unprompted.
Yes.
That was the interesting part.
But guess what? Our guy knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
That was not a slip of the tongue or him just riffing or him having too many scotches and cognacs. This was planting the seed out in the community to see what feedback he got about Colonial Life Arena. And the other part of this is, again, he's thinking we got to get better. We got to get more modern. Is CLA part of that? Can we generate even more revenue with a new arena and a new building? I want to get where we're at with this arena because I need to learn about this arena. Williams-Brice is being done. The #2 deal, again, is then Colonial Life Arena. What do you do there, if anything? And I think that's why Donati put it out there, because he wanted to get some information, intel on Colonial Life Arena. But the point is, this is a guy that's not going to be afraid. If he thinks that you got to do something about it in whatever way, he's going to put a plan in place to go see what he can get accomplished.
There's a finite amount of space. There's always room to do something. Don't get me wrong.
If you want to do it bad enough.
Yeah. I mean, there's always room. But I just remember how difficult it was to find a location for the baseball stadium. And I still get a little, and I like that ballpark a lot. Don't get me wrong when I say what I'm getting ready to say here, y'all. But a lot of you, I know, agree with me because we've talked about it in the past. But the baseball stadium should be where the intramural fields are behind the Strom Thurmond Center. That's where the baseball stadium should be.
Okay.
But Dr. Sorensen at the time felt that was more needed for daily student life, and I understand his point. So I don't push too hard on that, but that's where the baseball stadium should be, because then you've got parking for both, and it's just a little bit more of an on-campus feel. The reason I raised that point is because if you build something brand new, the #1 option, Terry, is probably to, at that point, demolish Carolina Coliseum and then build on that site. Because otherwise, I just don't know. And that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean, that happens. And they've found a way to repurpose the Coliseum for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But that's probably what you do, is that you blow up Carolina Coliseum and then you build something new on that footprint.
Yeah,
because you need to keep it there. That's my opinion.
Makes sense.
You don't want to move it. Again, my point being, I don't want to see this thing blocks away, miles away.
Well, remember, that's the big controversy at Chapel Hill right now.
But that's already there's already too much of that on this campus. I love Carolina, but it's such a big campus sometimes that things feel really far apart. So it's an interesting conversation, and I look forward to having more discussion on it in the coming months, perhaps, because I think there's a lot that Jeremiah wants to look at. All right, we got a World Cup update and a little J&A coming up. I had a blast at the Bulldog the other day when America won, and looking forward to being out there for some more matches as we get closer and closer to the knockout round. Welcome in for our soccer update. Today, it's still group play at the World Cup, but today is the beginning of the third round of group play, which means that the groups are playing simultaneously. So there's 2 games at once, and that will continue through the weekend. They do this in case the groups have not yet been decided, so that a result is not known in advance, which hopefully forces teams to play at their very best, not knowing the outcome of the other game. Quite honestly, Terry Ford, I wish this is something that we could adapt like during the NFL playoffs or like the end of the NFL regular. Like I wish the last couple of weeks of the NFL regular season were the same way, because a lot of times we know, oh, well, the 1 o'clock game, oh, well, let's just, say, oh, well, Kansas City just beat Buffalo.
Right.
Buffalo can't win the East. And all of a sudden, the Miami-New England game becomes pointless or some such.
Right.
Whereas if they were played at the same time, I like that. And that's like the end of the Premier League season, every game is played.
Baseball has had years like where everybody plays at the same time, first pitch. That way you see all the pennant races unfold.
Yeah, do that. If when you need it, like again, the last day of the Premier League season, all games kick at the same time. Now that makes
that's cool.
You can't watch 10 games at once, but it creates a little bit of drama. Anyway, that's happening today, and there is a little drama. Canada could have won their group today. They still can. They are playing Switzerland, who is the team I picked to win this group. It's Group B, by the way. The Swiss are better. The Swiss are better, and they're winning 2-1 right now. And in the other game in Group B, Bosnia is beating Qatar 3-1, which is what should have happened. So as it stands right now, Switzerland will win the group. Canada and Bosnia likely to go through. Canada already knows they're going through to the knockout round, and I think this would also make sure Bosnia goes through as well. But Canada has a chance.
Connor McDavid's looked good today. Ain't gonna lie.
And Canada almost had one go in right there. Oh my gosh! But there's about 3 minutes left in the Canada game. So if they get a draw, they win the group, and that changes the dynamic entirely for them. But I think no matter what they're going through, later tonight we've got Group A action, and that is going to be Mexico versus Czechia. That'll be in Mexico City, and or Czechia, either way you want to say it. The old Czech Republic. Not Czechoslovakia, though, because there is a Slovakia. Remember, they split up. They don't like each other. Terry and I were just talking about the old Yugoslavia and how they don't like each other.
They all hate each other.
I mean,
Man,
Bosnia, it's funny because Terry asked, isn't it time that Herzegovina broke off from Bosnia? And I was like, don't tempt them.
They're against their will.
They don't like, but man, Bosnia hates Croatia, and Croatia hates Serbia, and Serbia hates Slovenia, and Slovenia hates Montenegro. I mean, they hate each other, man.
It's just.
And Northern Macedonia is part of. They don't like. They all hate each other. It's crazy. It's crazy. They all hate each other.
It's insane.
But that's Group A tonight.
The funny thing is, they were all a country.
Yeah, they were all
people who hated each other.
Well, they didn't want to be a country.
No, they didn't want to.
That's there's a whole different animal that worked in.
Anyway,
but tonight that's Group A, Mexico against Czechia, and South Africa against Korea, and then we will have Group C tonight: Brazil, Scotland, and Haiti plays Morocco. Good news, American fans. Don't know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow night, but Christian Pulisic. Says he's probably not ready to play 90 minutes, but did go through full training this week. Did not play against Australia. Luckily, America didn't need him in a 2-0 win. But he said today to reporters, quote, "I'm feeling good. I joined the team the last couple of days. I'm hoping to play a part on Thursday for sure." When asked if he would be on a restriction, he said that he would discuss that with the coach. But he said, obviously not a good chance I'll probably go and play 90 right away after you come back and miss a game. But we'll see. Now, tomorrow night's game, I don't want to say it's meaningless, Terry Ford. But America has won the group, and Turkey, formerly known as Turkey, cannot advance. No. So they've basically been eliminated, but you have to play the game because it's still a group stage game.
It's a group stage game, right.
So that presents an interesting conundrum if I'm Mauricio Pochettino, the American coach, because Turkey is proud. And they've got a good league, a pro league. They've got a lot of guys that make a lot of money. They didn't have a good month, man. And do they want to come out and prove a little? Well, we're still good there, America. and they kind of go rough and tumble on you.
I was going to say, if I'm the U.S., I'm going to play my guys limited minutes. Other guys are going to get a lot of run that typically wouldn't get a lot of run. Because the goal of this, Jay, is to get out healthy.
Healthy. It's all about health.
That's the goal. But you don't want guys rusty, but you also want to get out of it healthy.
We'll have more of a preview on the America-Turkey game, which is tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Headlines of the day coming up next. You're listening to the Postgame Show.
Oh, guess what? We've got stop and go at Malfunction Junction. I know it's shocking. Also, a couple accidents. Still haven't finished up the cleanup for Highway 302 at Columbia Airport Expressway. And still the accident is lingering at North Lake Drive at Irmo Drive. And we do have heavy traffic, I-77 northbound between Fort Jackson Boulevard and Decker Boulevard. That's between exits 10 and 13. Quick check on the weather. The humidity, the hotness, the misery coming. High in the 90s coming up this weekend. Maybe a chance of a occasional shower or thunderstorm, but it's on the way.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Friday. It's also Friday, this Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm just wishing my life away. It's also the final hour, of the post-game show. It's Friday on the halftime show. He's Michael Haney. I'm Jay Phillips. Good to have you on board. I don't know what day it is. No, it's Wednesday, but it is 5 o'clock, and it is time for the headlines. And he's not Michael Haney. He's Terry Ford. And I am Jay Phillips still. That much I can at least guarantee for now. Let's start with some baseball news for South Carolina. Big pickup today for the Gamecocks. South Carolina landing portal transfer J.D. Stein from Wake Forest University. This is our good friend John Whittle joined us earlier today, and we asked him how big a get it was. He said, really big get. Stein this past season was good. 266 overall, 5 home runs, 41 driven in, but he hit 300 in conference play, and obviously the ACC is right up there with the best in the country when it comes to overall competition. I mean, tons of great schools. So he, as John said, really got it going. A little bit of a mixed bag, if you will, at the defensive side of things.
Yeah, he's got to tighten that up a bit.
12 errors last year. But nevertheless, this is somebody who was highly sought after at a high school and in the portal, and is now going to be a South Carolina Gamecock. His teammate, Andrew Costello, also this week committing to South Carolina. He's a catcher, and he'll be a backup to E-Step coming up in the new season under Kevin Schnall. And now we've learned, although we don't know yet, but Luke Costello, who is a position player for Wake Forest, has also entered the portal, and John said, don't be surprised if the Costello brothers are both in Columbia. But Andrew has done it. But again, J.D. Stein is going to be a South Carolina Gamecock.
The thing with Stein offensively, not a lot of power, but he walked 30 times, 188 at-bats. His on-base percentage is right around 400. And that's kind of the theme we've seen so far. Kevin Schnall obviously likes guys who get on base. Yeah. And so that's one thing Stein. Now, could his power ramp up? Sure. Could his batting average get better? Yeah. But the one thing we're seeing right now, even in a year it got better as he went along, but the one thing you do, if you take a look at the numbers, is he walked. Right. And he struck out 37 times, walked 30. Right. So the walk strikeout is almost even.
So there you go. We'll have more on the Gamecocks, including some football recruiting news coming up for you in our Gamecock notebook, and that will be in about 15 minutes. NBA draft, round 1 last night, round 2 tonight. If you missed it last night, I don't necessarily blame you. The Washington Wizards had the number 1 pick, and they chose BYU freshman star A.J. Debinsa, number 1 overall. He went ahead of Darren Peterson of Kansas. I like this. This is exactly what I would have done. Quite honestly, when I saw Peterson's post-draft press conference, Terry, I'm not going to lie, man. Now, I don't know how you felt. I kind of rolled my eyes with I wanted to be the first pick in the draft. And in so many words, he said, I won't make this a chip on my shoulder, but it'll always be there. And I'm like, dude.
You have shown no chips.
Yeah, I mean,
on your shoulder.
So, but Debinsa, I think, and you and I talked about him yesterday. This is a very complete player. He said being number 1 meant a lot to me. Obviously, being number 1 throughout all my high school career, I wanted to be a staple, to be in the same conversation with LeBron and Cooper Flagg, Allen Iverson, and guys like that. Now, look, you Cooper Flagg and Allen Iverson are one thing, and Allen AI was great. Be careful in putting yourself in the LeBron conversation right away,
right.
But especially because you play for Washington, who's lost more than 200 games the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But you know what? Washington has Trae Young now. I think it's good that they at least have Anthony Davis, who will play a few times a year.
Maybe. We'll see.
But
look, I like some of the young pieces that the Wizards have. Look, I'm not a Trae Young guy. I'm just not. I just think
making a lot of money, Terry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a guy, again, he has to have the ball in his hands all the time. And his numbers are because he has the ball in his hands all the time. Yep. And to me, that's just not good offense. And eventually 4 guys are standing around waiting for Trae Young to make up his mind what he's going to do.
Yep.
And how much are you going to hold the growth back of the AJ or some of these other good young players like Alex Sarr that the Wizards have because you have a guy who has to have his numbers? I don't know. We'll see. Can Trae Young be a different player at this point in his career? Maybe. I doubt it. Anthony Davis, it's a shame you can't keep him on the bleeping court because when he's on the court, he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, but
you can't keep him on the court.
He doesn't. He just.
And what's that old saying about availability?
Yeah, it's the best ability.
And so, yeah, the Wizards, on paper, they put up the Wizards starting 5 potentially. I just started laughing.
Right.
I go, yeah.
Well, it'll be a couple games.
Yeah, possibly.
AD will be there a couple games.
Yeah, it'll be a few. And I just feel like I would have taken DeBansta in a heartbeat over our boy Peterson, and it wasn't even a hard thought. It just are the Wizards? What are the Wizards going to ruin this? I guess that's the question because they have a history of ruining everything.
I don't even know. I mean, I really don't. When's the last time they made the playoffs?
I had hair. They're just. It's been forever. I mean, I think it was Gilbert Arenas and those guys who were on that team. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
I think since the Wizards
even
made
making
the
the play. I
postseason.
mean, if you just lose in the first round,
And they're getting beat. They weren't a factor.
No.
It's not a good organization. I'll say this. Peterson going to Utah. Utah's got players, man.
Well, and Utah has a better ownership structure. And again, I just don't think the Wizards, again, because the same ownership group runs the Caps. And I don't understand why you don't want to have the same basic philosophy of how you run the Caps.
I don't get it either.
Because the Caps are a premier organization.
Year after year, the Caps are
and they won their cup.
really good.
And they take care of Ovi. I mean, you can't get tickets because trust me, I've tried. By the way,
I know
I've tried.
it ain't easy.
And
brother.
if you want them, you can get them.
For a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My kids been wanting to go to a Wizard. They want to go to a Caps game.
I wanted to go.
I'll give you the example. My kids still can't get tickets for a Caps game, right? Wizards game, you can walk up 30 seconds before tip and get great seats.
Well, and the Wizards, unfortunately, for the Washington market, are really just a way for you to go see the visiting team.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like what the Clippers used to be in L.A. when Donald
100%.
Sterling owned them. Just here's a cheap ticket to see, New York come to town or Boston or whomever.
Yeah, so
anyway, but DeBansa goes number 1. Darren Peterson of Kansas went 2. Duke's Cameron Boozer goes 3 to Memphis.
That's going to be really interesting because guess who's still there?
Well, Ja's there for now.
I don't think when Memphis tips, Ja Morant will not be
Did I see that they're
trying
working to get him to the Kings?
They're trying. Well, that would be perfect. He could go to the Kings and hoist 30 shots a night, have some Sports Center highlights if he stays healthy, make a lot of money, and the Kings lose 140 to 137.
And then Caleb Wilson went 4, and God bless him, it wasn't his fault. But the question was, hey, you went to North Carolina, and Michael Jordan went to North Carolina, and Michael Jordan was a Bull, and
I know.
you're a Bull.
I saw
and
that
it's
too.
like, come on, man.
Guys.
But he gave the right answer. He's like, I just want to write my own story. That's what he said. I was like, there you go.
Can I just say this for a minute? And again, I grew up a Jordan guy, so this is not me taking it because, again, I'm a Jordan guy. But that's the best question you had.
Yeah, don't put that on. Don't put that on.
That's the best thing you could throw at him when he just got drafted number 4 overall, and you look at him and go, hey,
I didn't like
Jordan
that.
was a Bull.
I didn't like
You're
that.
a Bull.
SEC Player of the Year, Darius Acuff went 7th to the Kings.
Sacramento.
Terry texted me, and I said, I hope he likes boredom. No, I don't know. Sacramento, from what I understand, is actually a pretty fun town. And some other interesting picks. Morez Johnson goes to Dusty May's Dallas Mavericks. So from Michigan to Dallas, along with his coach. Yaxel Lindenberg from Michigan went 11th to
I thought that
Golden
was a very
State.
interesting pick.
That's an interesting pick. I mean, I'm not sure he's your new building block for the future, but it's a good piece. I don't know if he can help you right away or not.
I think where you're at as a franchise, you're bringing in a guy who he's 6'9", but can play on the perimeter. He can still do some things down low. He can pass. He shoots threes. He's a defensive demon.
Yeah. I like him a lot.
Player for what Golden State needs right now to get them. Look,
you just got to get back in the playoffs.
Yeah, just get back in the playoffs and get out of the play-in game.
The Hornets took Hans Steinbach.
Loved him in the Bond movie.
Yeah, he played at the University of Washington, but he is German, as you might imagine from his name. And am I right? Did the Hornets they had a second pick, right? Yeah, Christian Anderson. as well from Texas Tech.
I thought that was a pretty good pick. I like that. I like that guy.
So,
He's
again,
an
Hornets,
interesting player.
I have no idea what these guys are going to do for the Hornets, but they've got some pieces. I just don't know if ownership is all that concerned about making the Hornets a legitimate contender.
Well, they were so much fun last year to watch. A young team, a lot of potential, a lot of ability, scored a bunch of points. But now, to what you're saying, okay, ownership, you got for the first time in forever a team that people might actually be interested in seeing.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. So there's that. But the NBA's second round will be tonight, and you should probably just follow along on some app.
Yeah, some app.
Braves had a 4-0 lead last night in San Diego, blew it, then got the game tied, only to fall in extra innings 7-6. Atlanta has lost 7 of its last 10 ball games. Their lead in the East has gone from 10 to just 5.5 in that time. The Phillies are beginning to play better baseball. Braves and Pods back at it tonight. Martin Perez goes for Atlanta. He's 6-3 with a 2.78. J.P. Sears will make a season debut for San Diego tonight. So he has no statistics at this point. I don't know if I care about this or not, Terry Ford, but the matchup predictor at ESPN.com gives Atlanta a 61.2% chance to win tonight's game.
Really?
So I don't know if that matters or not. Braves
Yeah,
are
probably not.
Braves are scuffling, man. Braves are scuffling.
Well, you were going to scuffle at some point, Jay Phillips.
I know.
It's baseball.
I
You know this.
They're starting. It's a little too much scuffling. I didn't mind it when the lead went from say 10 to 7. Now all of a sudden it's 5.5. So
It's going to be okay.
It's starting to make me.
It's going to be okay.
A little nervous.
Got to relax. Remember, there's this thing called the wild card, too. There's a lot.
I don't want to be a wild card team.
I'm just telling you, Jay.
No, I'm
it's all
selfish.
going to be okay.
I'm selfish. I
gonna be
like
okay.
I like winning the East. That's what the Braves do, man. You know that.
I know.
The Braves win the East.
You got to relax.
Since the 90s, the Braves are supposed to win the East.
Everything's going to be okay.
But
It's
you know what?
162
But here,
games.
I do have one piece of good news.
Yes.
The Mets lost their 4th straight. And
See, look at that. That makes you happy.
14.5 back.
See, that makes you happy.
You know whose payroll is bigger than Atlanta's?
The Mets.
The Mets. There you go. All
How
right.
cool is
and
that?
Once again, if you just tuned in, World Cup action today. There's a lot of it. Group B, that's Canada's group. Canada lost to Switzerland. And at the same time, Bosnia beat Qatar. So Canada will move through, but Switzerland wins the group. Bosnia should be moving along as well. We've got Group A action later tonight. That's Mexico's group. They take on Czechia. That'll be in Mexico City, South Africa versus Korea. And kicking off in about an hour's time, Brazil and Scotland down in Miami. That'll be fun. And Haiti will take on Morocco.
If there was a drinking contest, a totally different
Have you
ball
seen
game.
Scotland? They took over Fenway Park. They bought more than 8,000 tickets for the Marlins were like, can we have Scotland come to Miami all the time so we can sell some bleeping tickets?
These guys, well, first they drank all the beer in Boston.
It was great.
Now they've moved on to Miami and they're taking over South Beach.
But, I mean,
these
seriously,
guys are hilarious. Tartan Army.
They don't have 8,000 fans a night anytime. And
No.
to get the Scottish, and who knew the Scottish fans loved the baseball game?
The people at the Marlins Park are going, we don't have enough food and beer.
All right.
We're used to like 1,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, what
the hell are we doing here?
I'm surprised we didn't hear that story. We ran out of beer again. Well, you didn't have any.
Ready?
Nobody
ran
was
out of
coming.
beer in the first inning.
That's right. So there you go. That's the World Cup. And Christian Pulisic, American star, says he feels good. Might not go 90 tomorrow night, but he has practiced fully the last couple of days after that calf injury.
Do you just put him out there and let him run around a little bit and then get him the heck out of the game?
I might start him and let him play the first
let him
half.
Run around for a little bit.
But again, you don't want Turkey marking him.
No, that's my point.
And again, I'm really worried about Turkey tomorrow night. Again, not from it doesn't matter if America loses. America has won the group, and Turkey has been eliminated.
But
it just worries me that the Turk pride takes over, and they want to, just make a statement.
The Turks would like to, if nothing else, make you know you played them for 90 minutes.
I think so.
You know what
I'm
saying?
serious. I think they would. I
I'm
think they
telling
would.
you, man.
That game will be tomorrow night in L.A. That's our headlines of the day. Gamecock baseball and football recruiting news. Part of the notebook next. it's a hot one out there. Griffin Pools and Spas is ready to make sure that you and your family can enjoy a nice dip in the pool whenever you want and cool off. Custom pool design like they've been doing for more than 50 years. Their founder, Stanley Griffin, built a pool in his backyard back in the 1970s. And he said, you know what? I'm pretty good at this. We're going to do it for a living. And now, 50 years later, they are still going strong. So get one of their experts into your yard, see what's up, talk about your budget, talk about your hopes and dreams with what your pool wants to be. Again, whether it's just a nice little rectangle to get wet in, or you want to have something really cool with a slide, a diving board, and all kinds of water features, whatever you want, they can get it done for you. Top quality construction, aggressive schedule commitment, minimized disruptions to your life so that you can get into that pool real quick, and they'll be with you every step of the way and beyond. Check them out on North Lake Drive, just steps away from the Lake Murray Dam, or online at griffinpoolsandspas.com. Twenty minutes after 5 o'clock on this Wednesday. It is indeed a Wednesday.
Yeah, sure about that?
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome back into the postgame show.
Now-
He's Terry Ford,
Now,
not
is the
Michael
fact
Haney.
that your head sitting next to you throw you off?
I hadn't really noticed it. I mean, we put it there. The geniuses on the 19th floor decided that all of us on-air personalities needed fat heads. And so So we have one. Where's yours, by the way?
Well, I got mine. They got mine.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the geniuses do good work. I'm not.
Yeah, these geniuses on the 19th floor. Again, the goober that just is in charge of this mess. Sometimes you just wonder how drunk that person is.
I wasn't going to say anything, but if you're wondering what we mean by that, we have split levels here. Our studios are on the first floor of our building in downtown Columbia, the tower at Gervais Street, right across from the State House and the Supreme Court in Trinity. But our offices are on 19.
Right.
We like to have fun riding the elevator.
Sure, because it's fun to go 18 floors back and forth all the time.
Yeah. We have fat heads, and I have my fat head, and it is me in an Arsenal cap. You can easily see the Arsenal Cannon logo on there. I took this the other day at the game in Charlotte. And I was like, well, here's a recent one. Terry was like, give me something recent, because Terry was saying, we still have something on the company website.
That thing is.
And look, I'm not in charge of that.
I know.
So I don't. That ain't me, man. I don't know why that thing is still there. But Terry's right. He's like, next time you go onto your whatever profile page on the within the company structure, and so I did, and he's like, how old is it? I said, I think that was 2010.
Yeah.
So
Man,
that's
you were
Yeah.
styling.
I mean, that makes me. I was 40.
You were styling in that picture, Chief. Yeah, your hair.
So again, why
your
the
hair
company
was darker? You were younger looking.
Well, because I was 40.
I know.
And I'm not now.
Look what kids have done to you.
Yeah.
Look what kids have done to me.
But yeah. So anyway, so Terry's like, give me something recent. I was like, well, here. We just took this the other day with the family, and it was. It makes it look like I was wearing one of those big giant hats. But the more I look at it,
not as bad.
I'm picking it up and looking at it now. Here's the better. You can see it right there if you're watching.
It's that bad.
YouTube. It doesn't look as bad as I thought.
It's all right. Yeah. And the reason we have these is to fill the empty chairs when people aren't here.
So when I'm at the beach in a couple of weeks, this is going to be sitting here the whole time.
It's going to be in your seat.
It's going to frighten people, man.
I know. I've said this. I go. They make me laugh and creep me out all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just like a floating head.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is. We should at least put something on there.
But because you and I both will be gone next Friday, a week from this Friday, neither one, so we'll have both of our heads sitting over.
Yeah, that's a little something. Anyway, all right, Gamecock notebook time. But yeah, if you're wondering why there is a floating head, and there's me pointing on the other screen on YouTube. Yeah, it's a fat head. Thanks to our friends at Minuteman Press.
They did a great job.
If you need a fat head,
if you want a fat head of yourself,
you do.
Who doesn't?
You need one.
You should put one in your car with you.
Yeah. But no, if you need, maybe you want to have somebody's birthday,
you make a fat head of them.
Make a fat head.
And I'll say this all seriousness. They did a heck of a job.
Yeah,
they were very
great.
creative with these things, and they ran with the goofy idea we had about slapping some fat heads around here. And
sure.
So we give Minuteman Press a ton of props.
Yeah. And they're right next to us. Well, actually, not quite, but almost right next to us.
Where they?
Right over there.
Right over there?
Yep.
That way?
1 block. Not even a block, man.
No.
We could get out of this. I could be at their door in a minute.
Well, maybe the 40-year-old version of you in that picture.
Oh, I could be there. It's right there. It's right there. I could be there in a minute. All right, let's get into some
Gamecock
football.
Notebook.
Gamecock Notebook. Gamecocks have flipped 4-star wide receiver Evion Lewis. Kentucky is where he had been pledged. He plays his prep high school ball, or his prep ball, if you will, at Huguenot High School in Richmond, Virginia. But yesterday announced that he was flipping from Kentucky to South Carolina. He had an official visit not too long ago and decided that Columbia was I guess it was just this past weekend, that Columbia was the place to be. He had been committed to UK since May, but the Gamecocks really, really stayed on him. And so, we say since May, let's face it, not that long. It was last month. He is listed at 6'2", 190. Our own Cale Wilson was watching Evion and the Huguenot football team in the 7-on-7 competition over at Carolina last week. And Cale, who is himself 6'7", said, I think he looks taller than 6'2". Maybe he's just wearing some tall cleats. I'm not sure. And let's face it, with another year of high school, maybe you get a little bit more height, a little bit more weight.
Still 6'2", 6'3", nice height.
He is ranked as the number 51 wide receiver prospect in the country, And out of the state of Virginia, he is the number 7 overall player. And Virginia churns out some talent. It's a big state, man.
Especially today, you get to that Tidewater area.
Yeah.
I mean, guys like Ronald Curry, Allen Iverson.
Hey, I mean, but he's from Richmond, but Richmond's a big city, man.
Richmond, you know what, honestly.
Big city.
And Richmond has kind of become part of the DMV, to be quite
feels
honest
like
with you.
Yeah, at least as far as the traffic goes. It takes you a long time to get from Richmond to Washington.
Now, Virginia, look, again, one of the things about why Virginia Tech was so good for so long is they pretty much tried their best to put fencing around the entire
they didn't let UVA get them
state.
either, man.
No, they were...
Frank went to, and he went to the Tidewater a lot.
That Tidewater area.
It's like, y'all come to the mountains for a little bit. You can always go home to the beach, but come to the mountains.
It's a fertile, still to this day, a fertile recruiting.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what sport.
No.
That's good stuff. And South Carolina also got a football pickup from Ridgeview offensive lineman James Ross. He is a 3-star prospect. He also committed yesterday. Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Cincinnati, East Carolina on his list as well. He says the conversations were amazing in terms of talking to Coach Beamer. He said he was telling me I deserve to be there. Congratulations, and just a good conversation with Coach Beamer. He is the number 43 interior lineman in the country and the number 11 overall prospect in South Carolina. Also has a good relationship with new offensive line coach, Coach Clem, Randy Clements. Mm-hmm. So 2 pickups. Now, that didn't move the needle too much for Carolina's national ranking. They move up to number 44 today. But as Terry and I were joking a little bit earlier, that's also 15th in the SEC. Not joking about that. It's who's number 16? You say, I don't know, Vandy, Arkansas?
Nope.
That's Alabama.
Alabama, baby.
Alabama is currently last.
Dead last.
That won't remain.
No,
just a lot of the guys that they recruit don't commit until much later in the process.
Decision making isn't finalized by a lot of those.
Well, these guys, like they're
chasing 5 stars.
Yeah, they're in on 10 or 12 guys that will probably commit during the season on national television.
Their recruiting numbers will go up again. It probably won't be to the level of what Coach Saban was pulling there, but still, their recruiting numbers are going to come up.
I gotta something tells me Alabama will still probably be top 15, if not top 10.
I'll be honest with you. One of the things that's interesting is NIL money in Tuscaloosa. They've lost a couple in the transfer portal fight with like Texas, which obviously it's Texas, but there is some rumbling of concern about the NIL world and how Alabama's going to keep up. Remember, Nick brought that up with the whole sliced bread A&M stuff years ago when this was first starting to kick in.
Ask me if I think they'll fix it.
I think they'll fix it. Yeah. They're not going to let themselves. They're not going to let themselves fall behind.
They'll fix it.
At all.
They'll fix it.
They'll find a way. Yes, they will.
They'll fix it. That's Alabama.
Yeah, they'll find a way.
Yeah, some way. It doesn't matter how.
Yeah, they will fix it. Yes, they will.
They'll get it done. And again, one more time, if you didn't already hear, South Carolina picked up a big baseball transfer portal get. Wake Forest shortstop J.D. Stein committing to South Carolina today. He visited officially yesterday. As John Whittle told us a little bit earlier, he's now on his way up to Team USA camp in Raleigh. Last year, a 266 overall hitter, but hit 300 in ACC play. Was the number 1 shortstop prospect in the state of Indiana, the number 5 overall prospect when he committed to Wake. He will now be a Gamecock. He has 3 years of eligibility. If he lives up to the promise, expect him for 2 in Columbia. There you go. That's the Gamecock Notebook. Drive around the SEC is next.
All right, a few accidents. We got the other ones cleared out. We got 2 new ones. 2 notch at Park Lane Road and also River Walkway at Broad River Road. Stop and go traffic at Malfunction Junction like always. We have construction I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road. I-20 between Sunset Boulevard and Bush River Road, and Broad River Road between I-26 and Dutch Fork Road. Drive around the SEC coming up next here on the game, the post-game show. Jay and Terry.
It is Drive Around the SEC time on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Get into a little bit of what Bill Conley has been doing when he has projected this year's SP Plus. That is his, I guess it's a proprietary ranking, Terry, that he uses to.
I think probably.
That he likes to put together. And it's interesting. We'll give you both what he calls his continuity table and then the projections. Because there's some good stuff that I think Carolina fans will at least be
interested.
hopeful when they hear it, if nothing else.
Yeah.
First off, just one quick news note. Arkansas has announced that their football stadium will no longer be Reynolds Razorback Stadium. The Reynolds family had a foundation that was giving money to put their name on it, but that agreement has ended.
Done?
Yeah. And so now it will be the Community America Razorback Stadium. I think it's some type of financial service.
I was going to say, I'm thinking Community America's writing a check now.
Yeah. But it's some type of financial company or some such. So Community America.
I can't keep up with all these.
Razorback Stadium.
I can't.
How many people out there you think call it Community America? Like, hey, you going to Community America?
Only the people that work at Community America.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody else will care.
Are even they going to do it?
Nah, probably not. No. Not even the guy that wrote the check.
You just call it Razorback Stadium. Yeah. That's what they all call it.
That's what it's been called forever.
Razorback Stadium.
It's Razorback Stadium.
But so, people have asked before, like, you think Carolina would ever, like, I don't know. I can't. I think you want to slap some names on the field.
And that's fine. Look, even if you did that for financial purposes, you and I both know it's going to be called what?
Williams-Brice.
Yes.
Nobody's going to, I don't think Carolina would call it, I don't know. I mean, do you call it so-and-so field at Williams-Brice Stadium and then hope that people are going to say that? Because the only people that are going to say that are going to be on television.
Bucky's Field at Williams-Brice Stadium. It's got a real ring to it.
Sure. I mean, I don't have a problem with doing that.
No,
listen, I've told you before. Look, I think put a patch on the shoulder, put a sticker on the helmet.
I mean,
I got no problem with these things.
I won't lie to you. I am past that point of, rolling my eyes at this stuff or getting all militant about it because I know the way the world works, you need to squeeze every dollar you can out of everything.
Again, like you just mentioned it a minute ago, and you weren't even joking. Texas, you're in a conference with Texas. Mm-hmm. I don't even care about Texas A&M anymore.
No,
because Texas will be like, A&M did what?
Okay, we're going to go do it twice as big.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way this is, and you've got to make money to keep up. And part of that is selling everything in sight, NASCARing up everything. And so even if you did slap a corporate sponsorship on the name of Williams-Brice Stadium, everybody's going to call it Willie B.
Yeah.
It's Williams-Brice.
It'll be fine.
Nobody pays attention.
And we're not predicting that.
No,
I don't.
Just saying,
but you know what?
If you did.
If you do.
Okay.
But so-and-so field at Williams-Brice.
Yeah.
Again,
fine.
Lizard's Thicket Field at Williams-Brice.
Man, that's got a ring to it. I like it.
The Williamses can afford it.
Yeah, I think they could try to write a check.
They can. They got a lot of Lizard's Thickets out there. Although the one by my house is still being remodeled. I said that's going to be the nicest Lizard's Thicket on the planet because it's been closed a while.
Luxury seating?
I don't know what they're going to have, but it's been closed a while. I'll tell you that much. I can't imagine the people in my neighborhood because this is a free plug for, the Williamses are great, and I've known their family for a long time, and their extended family too. But, the parking lot at the Lizard's Thicket by my house is packed all the time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, it's packed. Packed. And I'm like, where? I guess they're all, bless their hearts. They're having to splinter themselves off to 3 or 4 different Lizard's Thickets.
No, they have a bus.
Yeah, like, where
Takes
are we
them
going? I don't know. When you better
You
find
just
one.
meet at the Lizard Thicket Park and Ride, and then we'll move you on from there.
That's right. Yeah, please visit so-and-so. Anyway. All right. So Bill Conley has done his SP Plus rankings, predictions for the, I call them projections. He calls them projections, excuse me. But before we look at this year, he has what he calls the continuity table, which he says looks at each team's returning production levels, the number of starts returning for incoming players, and the approximate number of redshirt freshmen on the roster heading into the season. South Carolina leads the way in the continuity table.
Yep.
Now, again, you might say, well, okay, we only won one conference game. Is that going to be okay? Because I'll be honest with you, Texas is number 2.
Yeah.
Which should scare people because Texas was really good last year, and they returned almost as much. But Carolina has 68% of its production returning. That's 5th in the country. Texas is 6th in the country. It's the same percentage. I guess Carolina gets a slight nod with the offense and defensive numbers. Carolina returns 76% of its offense, 61% of its defense. Texas returns 73% of its offense, 63% of its defense. Carolina has 129 returning starts to Texas's 130. So, again, I'm not really sure why Carolina's slightly ahead of them. I suppose it's just with that offensive number being a little bit higher and the defense not quite as much. So just slight percentage. But, again, 5, 6, 7 in the country is Oklahoma, also at 68%. But, again, with a few tweaks. Georgia is 9th in the country, 68%. Then Florida is 66%. A&M on down the list. Last in the league is Vanderbilt at just 44% returning production for the coming season. And that's why you and I were talking about over-under totals, win totals, Terry, a couple of weeks ago on Jay versus the Internet, or Jay or Nay, one of them. And, I told you, I think you gave me, did you give me, was it 4.5? I know it wasn't you. I think it was one of the books. But Vandy's number was like 4.5, right?
4.5 or 5.5 or something like that.
And I was like, I took over because it's got to be.
I think it was 5.5 because I went under just because of all the people they have to replace, and Pavia was so important, and now you're probably starting just a true freshman at quarterback. And
I don't know, but man,
they lost
if
a
you
lot,
go from
man.
and I get you did lose a lot. Stowers, you lost some key pieces on that defense too. I get it, but if you go from 10 to 5, now I'm not saying you got to win 10 again. But if you go from 10 to 5, that's
right. That's tough.
When you've kind of captured the imagination of Nashville, and
I remember them carrying the goalposts after beating Bama a couple years ago, and
so I'd like to see them win at least.
I'd like it too because I've become a huge fan of Clark Lee.
It's good for the league,
and but the good news with South Carolina, you got that much production coming back. Plus, your offensive line has a combined 7 billion starts with the veterans that have come in.
Just hope Peak is ready to go.
Yeah. Well, reading some stuff today on Gamecock Central is word is, now again, you can take what word is whichever way you want.
Sources say.
Yeah, sources say, unidentified, informants, whatever you want to call it, that Peak's injury not as bad as they originally thought. And they're hoping he could come back earlier than later. Now, again, you got a long way to go till it's time, and there's a lot of rehab, but they feel better. Stewart, still going along the way he's been going along. But if you can get Peak back, and look, forget the first game or whatever. If you get Peak back by week 3 or 4, week 3 is your first SEC game,
correct,
right? Have Peak on the field for that game. That's the game you want him on the field for.
Yeah, I like to. Yeah, I agree.
It'd be nice to get the rust off in the game
before. Just get a few snaps even in one of those games.
If you have him ready to rock and roll when it truly matters, because he's a difference maker on your offensive line.
So without going into detail, we only have a couple of minutes left here in the drive around. Bill Conley has put together his 2026 SP Plus projections, and these are national numbers here. Georgia, 4th in the country, number 1 in the conference. Texas, number 6 in the country. A&M, number 9. LSU, 10. Bama, 11. Oklahoma, 12. Mississippi, 15. Tennessee, 16. Missouri, 19. Florida, 20. Carolina, 25. Auburn, 26. Vandy, 31. Arkansas, 46. Mississippi State, 52. Kentucky is 54. Bill also says that South Carolina has the 14th most difficult schedule in the country. The numbers 1 and 2 most difficult, and 3 are in the SEC. Texas number 1, Arkansas number 2, and Oklahoma has the 3rd most difficult. So the 1, 2, 3 toughest schedules in the country are all in the SEC.
Give you real quick. Bill has them under the category a couple of breaks away from a run with a bunch of other teams, and he says real quick, so we're going to run up against a break here. He says, here's the opening. Shane Beamer's 5 seasons at South Carolina have been, frankly, exhausting. He won 7 of 9 at one point, lost 7 of 9 at another point. He's had stretches of 5-1 and 6-0 and 1-3 and 1-6. The past 2 even-numbered years, 20 and 24, 17 and 9. Odd numbers years, 9 and 15. So it's exhausting.
Yes, that's fair. But check it out at ESPN.com. There's some good stuff in there. But and Bill goes way in depth. So a fun read for SEC and Gamecock football fans. That's the drive around the SEC. Jay versus the Internet next. 11 minutes in front of 6 o'clock. Wednesday. Scott Hamilton coming your way next. We almost made an entire show without talking about Brendan Sorsby, but that is not going to last. There's nothing completely new here, but I did want to read this. This is from the NFL's CBA. For those wondering exactly like what the NFL has done here in terms of, there's a lot of people who think, even if they agree that Sorsby needs punishment, well, the NFL can't just hold him out. Here is the language from the CBA.
And then we'll follow. Mike Florio has a 1-minute cut about this, too.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
If a player who was not eligible for the draft in any league year becomes eligible after the date of the draft, he will be eligible to be selected in a supplemental draft if the league elects to conduct such a draft on or before the 7th calendar day prior to the opening of the first training camp that league year. No player may elect to bypass a draft for which he is eligible to apply for selection in a supplemental draft. Any club that selects a player must forfeit a choice in the same round in the next succeeding principal draft. Again, the key there is would be eligible to be selected if the league elects to conduct such a draft. Florio did a great job with Brendan Sorsby's agent and asked a lot of good questions. And I know you got one of those things that he was talking about on his show, because it was I was impressed. Florio did a really as an attorney, he hit the guy with some pretty good questions.
He gets it. He knows what's up with it, and he basically talked about this situation. He did one of his just live stream riffs,
right?
And here's a minute of Florio discussing this whole Brendan Sorsby situation with the supplemental draft in the NFL.
When quarterback Brendan Sorsby applied for the supplemental draft, the first question was whether or not the NFL would accept his application. The NFL has rejected that application and decided not to hold a supplemental draft. The NFL's reason is there isn't enough time to fully investigate what happened with Brendan Sorsby as it relates to gambling on his team, gambling when he was underage. And also the NFL expressed concern that Sorsby hasn't demonstrated accountability for his actions. Well, when you look at the CBA, there's nothing in there about accountability. There's nothing in there about investigation when it comes to eligibility for the supplemental draft. And lawyer Jeffrey Kessler, who's represented Sorsby in his fight against the NCAA, has made it clear that he believes the NFL's position violates both the CBA and the law, which means there could be litigation coming and there could be an effort to force the NFL to let Sorsby into the supplemental draft.
I think that would be a mistake.
Absolutely.
And I put on my rundown today, and I said I was going to mention this, so I wanted to get this done. I think his redemption tour needs to start. And what I mean by that is because I think we've all agreed, at least the vast majority of us across the country, if this young man truly is an addict and needs help, then he needs to get it. And if he's that talented at football, the football will be there for him. But this country loves a comeback story. It loves a redemption story. But when you keep fighting with the appearance of attempting to avoid the consequences of your negative actions, you don't get the support from. I mean, they have Texas Tech and Brendan Sorsby lost in the court of public opinion big time. They got blown out.
Yeah,
they got blown out in the court of public opinion. And now he's got his attorneys wanting to do this. Listen, at some point, maybe you tell the attorneys, hey, you know what?
Down, boy.
I'm good.
We're done.
Because Kessler loves to fight the NFL. He's fought the NFL multiple times. He's fought the NCAA multiple times. This is what he does.
This is his thing.
And he's like, he's chomping at the bit.
Oh, he's tingling.
He's a rabid dog. But Sorsby and his parents can go, hey,
we're done.
We're good. We'll apply for April. We're going to work out. We're going to get healthy. We're going to finish school. We're going to take a tour around the country and talk to kids. Dan Patrick said this. We're going to talk to kids about the dangers of gambling.
He should go to campuses.
Yeah.
He should go to college campuses all over the country.
High schools.
And talk to all of these players.
Go to the high school kids.
Go to high school kids. If he really wants to show he's got a 180 going, that's what you do. You keep working out. You hire an agent. You get yourself ready for the draft.
Because you'll get drafted.
Yeah, he's going to get drafted.
He's going to get drafted.
It'll probably be day 3 at this point, but he'll get drafted by somebody. Point being is this. If you're truly an addict, you truly have mental health issues, and you truly need guidance and counseling, get the hell away from all this, go do what we just said, and then come back ready for the 2027 draft. Then you know what? Then you turn your negativity into a positivity, and you move from
and
a
you
different
gain
space.
support. And and then people in this country think you've paid your penance.
Yep, because you should pay penance for
Yes,
this.
and it's just the appearance right now is that he's attempting to avoid
He's trying to skate.
consequences.
He's just trying to skate.
Yeah, and the
that's what it
NFL,
looks like.
and you said it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. NFL doesn't want that smoke right now.
No.
They don't. They did what they did because they don't want you right now.
They don't want you.
Yeah,
it's clear.
You're a problem, and they don't like problems.
So, Reddy, don't be a stalker.
Right. So,
I think we just laid out a good plan.
yeah, there you go.
Go follow it there, Brendan.
That's right.
All right, nice work, my
Good
friend.
stuff. Thanks to John Whittle.
Yeah,
Do it all
thanks
again
for
tomorrow.
listening, watching.
Yeah.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
Yep.
Thanks to your severed head, your weird head over there. Fat head.
That's right. Hey, easy. No, wait.